All right, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is where you are located at. It is good to see you here. My name is Just Vince, and I'm joined here by my man,
Devin Kronk. What's going on, guys? Welcome in. We are also joined here today by a very special guest known
very
as
special.
very special, Mr. Trashy Sweetheart. Welcome to the podcast.
I feel welcome. I feel very happy to be here. I hope everyone's been having an absolutely lovely, spectacular day.
Awesome. On this Saturday, and we are back with another episode of Gaming Tonic. It is glad to have you both here with us again. We're getting back after being gone for a couple of weeks. I know we've been busy. We've had a lot going on, a lot of life events popping up. Like the first week, I was having a sore throat just because I've been wildly busy and burning the candle at both ends, working overtime at my job and then streaming all the extra hours, trying to do YouTube content now, all that stuff, TikTok videos. I've been slacking on that this week, but still, it's been an awesome time. So,
Yes.
Devin, tell me. How are you doing? What have you been up to this week? What's been going on in your world? It's been a couple of weeks since we've gotten to catch up. So tell us what's up.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a while. Man, okay. I can't even remember last week. It was a blur. But this week, it was fun. I beat Pogo Stuck. That was the biggest news last week. I beat Pogo Stuck, which was absolutely an incredible feeling. So
I mean, that's bordering on monumental life achievements. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If not life achievement, then definitely a monumental stream achievement.
Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, they're the same, but yes, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was there. This week it was a lot of I'm trying Jump King because I just like to torture myself. So
what is
we're
that?
going through that one.
Wait, what?
It's the same kind of concept where you just have to get through these annoying obstacles, and if you fall really far, and you just want to hit your monitor, but we're working through it. It's all right.
Dude, I've been dreaming of the day where I didn't have to pull out my hair watching you play Pogo Stuck anymore, and then you started up another one right after that. Why do you do these things to me?
It's the last one in the trifecta. We beat Getting Over It. We beat Pogo Stuck. If I beat Jump King, we're done for a long time.
Where do you go from here? Like, what's the next play? You know what I mean? Like, what is the logical next step? Are we just full-time speedrunner?
Maybe if I get good enough at all three, we could do all three in one day, one stream. Whoa. Knock them all out. That would be the hardest flex.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so I celebrated Valentine's Day early with chat yesterday. We played Super Seducer 2, and that was very fun.
What is that for people who don't know? Just Super Seducer. Explain it to me.
Super Seducer 2 is a game made by this dude named Richard, and he's just apparently the most self-acclaimed, most suave man ever in existence, and he decided he wanted to share that with the gaming audience. So he made this game where you just your objective is to seduce women or not. There's multiple endings, and some of the options are pretty goofy. It's a good time.
man, yeah. Erica in the chat just said Richard is a creep. Is that pretty accurate? You've played the game now.
If you choose to make Richard a creep, he can definitely be a creep.
But like when you look at him, he's a creep.
I mean, if Richard could be a normal guy walking on the street.
That's good. All right.
He's not an awful looking guy, but
so basically inside of the game, in the event that you choose the most creepy option, he pulls it off.
Yeah, I would
nailed
say
it.
So.
Nice. Did you have chat pick any of the options for you?
Well, they had a Twitch integration thing
amazing
in the game, but it wasn't working. So we made our own way. I got my way of doing my polls and stuff. So they for the most part they chose the decision. Sometimes we chose the meme stuff just to see what would happen, but yeah, for the most part they took the reins. And if you know anything about Twitch, you know that went well. So
yeah, naturally they probably chose the worst option ever every single time. Yeah, no worries.
Surprisingly, we got some good ones. Some guys were out there trying to prove themselves or something, because they were really working. They were working on it.
Trying to prove themselves on Super Seducer on your Twitch stream. Yes, we've done it.
Yeah, it was a good time. How have you been, Trashy? How's your streams been? Tell us about yourself, man. What do you stream?
Yeah, I stream a bit of variety content. I've been playing a whole lot of Smite right now because I just have so much fun with that.
Oh
I've
yeah,
been playing on getting to Overwatch. I'm looking for a single player game so I could just stream like whenever because my internet's a bit iffy sometimes. So
yeah.
multiplayer's gotta wait for specific times. But I also like doing music chat streams. I invite anyone to come over, talk about whatever they want, recommend any music. I listen to any and all recommendations. And also I do photo editing. I've been getting like really into that self-taught, basically going through struggling, pulling my hair out, trying to figure out why something's not working the right
Yeah.
way. Just yesterday I made a logo for my buddy and it ended up like really, really nice. And I'm super proud of myself for that.
Nice. Right on, dude.
Heck yeah, dude.
Those are
What?
all my like crowning achievements on there.
Right on. If you don't mind me asking, what program are you using for your photo editing?
GIMP
GIMP,
version
gotcha.
2, I
Okay.
believe.
GIMP.
Yeah.
I love GIMP. I use GIMP for a while.
Adobe Premiere. It's got all the same things. The UI is a bit less user friendly than
Yeah.
not Adobe Premiere. It's Adobe Premiere is
The video editing, Adobe Photoshop,
the
right?
video Photoshop.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
My bad.
No worries.
But it's since it's free, it's got so much support for it. You could get like custom brushes and all that. It's
Oh, really?
really nice having like so
Yeah.
much different options to get with that as opposed to Photoshop, which are a bit more nitpicky.
So I imagine it'd be
Definitely.
similar to like downloading a mod for your game. You just download a different brush or a different tool that you want to use for GIMP.
Oh yeah, you just download it. There's
Nice.
a certain file, you just drop it in there, and it's like good to go. Oh, it's so fun.
That's awesome, dude.
GIMP is awesome. That's where I taught myself how to do all that stuff too. I used GIMP for a
Yeah.
long time.
Right on.
Oh,
That's
it's
actually
so
cool.
Great app, and it's free. Can't beat that.
Yeah, definitely can't be free. Right on. Well, this week I've been, wildly busy. I mean, the last couple of weeks, honestly, it's been kind of insane for me. Everything that's been going on with Smite and all that stuff. Finally started pumping out my YouTube videos, and I say TikTok videos too, but it's basically the same videos I'm putting on YouTube with a different format. And I've been learning. Devin, you've been teaching me some Adobe Premiere and some like tricks and stuff like that to do with video editing. So that's been a lot of fun. Getting to learn how to do all
My
that and
pleasure.
kind of exciting. I haven't been able to do it too much this last week because I just actually had to move my streaming schedule like forward 2 hours. So I'm now starting at 3:30 in the morning instead of 1:30 in the morning because I've been having to work overtime every single day at my job because we're super short on people and there's just too much stuff to do. And that is what it is. But I mean, that's been life for the past couple of weeks. So I've been very tired, but feeling very accomplished, you know? And I'm pretty excited for tomorrow because I've got a big announcement coming up tomorrow that's been, I think, a long time coming, but I'm pretty excited to make. So tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time on my channel, stick around for that. That's Sunday. What's the day going to be tomorrow? The 14th, Valentine's Day.
You said 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Pacific time. Yep, just like the podcast today. So
I know nothing about this event, guys. This is news to me. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, hang on.
So and then after that we'll be doing the viewer custom games and I'll be casting those with Grinth Live again, who's one of my mods and another streamer, great guy. He's been on the podcast before. We like him. So I'm glad to hear you guys have been having very productive, awesome weeks. I'm excited to get talking about some of this news that's been going on though. I mean, this has been a pretty busy week in the gaming world. I mean, I don't know how much y'all have been getting caught up. I saw most of the things that we're going to talk about today, except for a couple of them. I actually didn't, I missed a couple of announcements just because I've been busy and not able to keep up on news so much. But the first thing we're talking about is pretty big. CD Projekt Red announced that it got hit with a ransomware attack. Okay, and this is an article that's coming from Ars Technica, just a heads up, so be sure to go give them a look. We cite our sources here. But they announced that they'd been hit with a ransomware attack that exposed the source code for Cyberpunk 2077, Gwent, and The Witcher 3. All three of them. Those are pretty big titles. I mean, that is a massive company with arguably the biggest blockbuster title that came out last year, and they got dunked on. And apparently, the source code for Gwent for sure. I'm not sure if they updated saying whether or not the other ones had been confirmed sold off or not, but for sure Gwent, I remember reading that one was definitely sold on the black market. I mean, what do y'all think about this? Any extra opinions? Any extra input? What do you got?
Someone got upset about Cyberpunk, dude. That's
how you take it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. I saw it on Twitter a few days ago, and my first thought was like, yeah, someone didn't like how that game turned out. They had to retaliate somehow.
Yeah. What about you, Trashy? Any opinions?
I'm surprised someone bought the source code for Gwent of all things. I
Well,
used to
listen.
freaking love Gwent. When I played it in like the alpha version, it's fun, so fun. Then they updated, took all my cards away from me and my buddies, and we're like playing. We use the same cards. A card that was like really OP and awesome before suddenly kills itself when it hits the board. We're like, well, this game's bad now.
Just
they
changes
would've
that they
bought
made.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They would have bought the Cyberpunk source code, but it was too expensive. They had to settle for Gwent.
I could definitely see
the,
that.
the asking price for Cyberpunk was $1 million. For Gwent, they're like, maybe a Big Mac.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah,
We'll take $5.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Buy us a water bottle and you can have the Gwent source code. All good. But Teddy Stormbear said, I understand that people don't like the game, but that was just doing the most no one benefits. Yeah. Things like this, things like,
totally.
you know, DOSing. Is it DOSing? Or, where they like
Doxing,
crash?
I think?
No, when they crash the servers.
Doxing's right.
DOSing is right. Okay, I thought that was the term. It was when they just like overload the servers by pinging them constantly with like logins and stuff like that. Like just
DDoSing?
basically, yeah, DDoSing. That's what it is. Like, I thought I was missing a syllable or something in there. It's like that, you know. They do it to be edgy or whatever, and to be like, oh yeah, look at me, look at what we're doing, hacker man. And then it's like it legitimately does just ruin it for everybody. Like, clearly the people who have this ability, I mean. Like, I'm going to assume that the people who have that coding ability to be able to do things like that are running in the same circles as gamers, you know? So they probably play video games, you know? Like, they have to have some understanding that what they're doing is just being a dick.
I read,
you know?
on because CD Projekt Red, they actually, where I saw it was they had like a whole PR announcement set up for it, right?
Yeah.
So I read through it, and they said that they're not even 100% sure that the like what they're claiming even happened, because they are also saying that they have like all these former employee records and all their information and all kinds of stuff. They were like, I think at the end it said, we're not 100% sure if this is the truth, but if it is, make sure that you pay attention to like fraud alerts if you're a former employee and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have a whole thing up on their Twitter account if anyone wants to go check that out.
I actually saw that post go out. I went to read it and I couldn't read it because it wasn't on a yellow background.
Yeah.
But like, for those of you who aren't familiar, they posted every single update for Cyberpunk on this like super Cyberpunk bright yellow background that they did with black font. And like, it was so weird seeing a post from CD Projekt Red that wasn't in that same format.
Honestly, I would have skipped over it if it was like, I noticed that it wasn't that background, and I was like, oh, this must be good. Like,
yeah,
I almost swiped past, but yeah, no, that's it. It's a crazy thing for sure.
Man, what a world we live in. Hackerman's out here getting people's source code for games that people don't want to play and selling it. Gwent specifically.
Getting upset about games.
Yeah. So the next one on our list is Terraria for Google Stadia has been canceled. And did y'all hear about this before we spoke about it before today?
Oh, yeah.
You had heard about this, okay. So basically, Andrew Spinks, he's the founder of Relogic, the people who developed Terraria. Pretty good guy, well respected in the community. His Google account had been disabled. He tweeted this out. My Google account has been disabled for over 3 weeks, and I still have no idea why. And after using every resource, I have to get this resolved. You've done nothing but give me the runaround. My phone has lost access to thousands of dollars of apps on Google Play. I had just bought Lord of the Rings in 4K and can't finish it. My Google Drive data is completely gone. I can't access my YouTube channel. The worst part of all is losing my access to my Gmail address of over 15 years. I absolutely have not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I can take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Hashtag Terraria for Google Stadia is canceled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward.
My man, he got so upset he couldn't watch Lord of the Rings in 4K. His game.
Like, project terminated.
There's,
just go buy the physical copy of Lord of the Rings in 4K with all the money you would make.
Doesn't want it.
But looking at how serious everything else was on this list, though, like seeing him just throw that in there, I can't finish Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, huh.
That's so funny. But I mean, I feel bad. Like that sucks. But
yeah,
Lord of the Rings in 4K, man, come on.
But definitely the other things, though, for sure. I mean, Teddy said it from a business standpoint. I get it from a person looking on. That's funny. Yeah, but from a business standpoint specifically, like,
no, that's frustrating. Yeah,
losing your Gmail, like. Oh, yeah. I'm not a businessman. If I lost my Gmail, my whole life would go up in flames. I have so much stuff linked to my Gmail.
My tax documents.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like my insurance gets billed to my email. Like my bank reaches out to me through my email. My job emails me things. Twitch tells me when people are going live. How am I gonna know? You know what I mean? Like it's
you just want it.
I wouldn't be able to function.
How would you watch Lord of the Rings in 4K, Vince? How?
How would I know when I can get a 2 for $6 from Burger King? I would have no clue. There'd be no one to tell me. You know what I mean? Like it'd be impossible. So like. I get where he's coming from. And as a game developer, as a prominent game developer, I imagine he uses his Gmail to reach out to a ton of people. And like totally. For him to be going out of his way to develop for a platform like Stadia in the first place that is largely considered a failed platform by most people, I feel like that is the wrong bridge to burn, Google. Terraria would probably be one of the best games for Stadia because it's low intensity and just one of those casual games you can play for fun. And being able to pick up and play that on your, Stadia streaming or whatever would be great. It wouldn't be too bad over the streaming service. I feel like that's a game that's honestly made for that. And this is a big oof by Google. I mean, like outside of Minecraft, I feel like Terraria is potentially the best game that Stadia could have gotten. But it is what it is, man. Not having access to his own YouTube channel, if that's what he uses to post videos and stuff like that, which I hope it's not. I'm hoping it wasn't the official channel for the company. But yeah, man.
That's what my mind immediately went to when you were talking about like how your life would go up in flames without your Google account. I just immediately think about like my content and stuff. Like, oh my god, if I lost my YouTube channel, I'd be floored.
Yeah.
I feel for you, Andrew Spinks. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. So another couple of things that like kind of expected, but a little bit disappointing for me. What's up? Go ahead, man. What do you got? You got a feeling on it? Go.
Oh, I was gonna say for me, my big thing is like I'm not sure if it's an actual hit to Google not developing Terraria on Stadia, because while it would be like you said, it would be like the best game they could possibly get on there. But again, kind of a failed console. I don't know like if they're gonna be like, oh man, we lost millions off of that. If only we had Terraria on Stadia.
Yeah. Well, but at the same time,
like it's
like when you look at like the Wii U, for instance, like I would say that the Wii U was largely a failed platform, and I like that you have a different opinion on this because it opens up a little bit more discussion on this specifically. But like when I look at the Wii U, I think of like the killer app that the Wii U could have had. You know what I mean? Like if Super Smash Bros. Ultimate had been able to come out on the Wii U, I think that the Wii U would have sold a ton of copies of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Does that make sense? Even though the Wii U was a largely failed platform, just because it was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, if it had come out the same way that it did for the Switch, you know what I mean? Like, people would have still gone out and bought it for that specifically. I'm not saying that Terraria is a game that's going to sell Stadias to people or make people believe in the service again or anything like that, but I'm saying that for the people who are already there, looking at the attach rate to games that they have and things like that, it would probably go way up for a game like Stadia compared to trying to sell them on playing PUBG over a streamed connection. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's how I would see it. Like, I'm looking at relative to the size of the current install base of Stadia, we would have, like, Terraria being a game that I could see a lot more people picking up, especially at that price point. Like, it might not be something that's going to do gangbusters, but it'll sell a lot of copies because it's cheap and easy to pick up and play. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But you're right. Google, the mass that is Google, they don't care about this guy not developing for their platform. They'd probably rather everybody forget about Stadia at this point. I think you're right on that.
I agree.
They didn't lose money. They just didn't get a little bit more,
Yeah, exactly.
That's my
He's like, I think you're disconnecting a little bit, but let's see. Your internet was struggling a little bit there. What were you saying?
Might be.
No worries.
Shitinetnet might be.
Yeah, all good.
I'd say that it wasn't they're losing out money. It's pretty much just that they're not getting a little bit more. Like,
yeah. Most definitely. I mean, we've talked about this with Epic Games a little bit, but I feel like Google is definitely one of those companies that could just like buy their own shopping mall for their headquarters if they don't already have one, and then devote an entire wing of the shopping mall to just like shoveling money into a furnace and then still just come out net positive every single day.
Definitely.
They're making too much. They don't care. Like this is negligible for them. It's a little bit of bad PR, but I mean, people are going to forget about this next week and keep using their Gmail. So who cares, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I'm not throwing my Gmail away anytime soon.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, most definitely. So the next piece of news that we got, though, so this one comes from The Verge, and Blizzard has 2 sequels in the work. We know about both of these. Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 have gotten official announcements, official trailers, but they did reveal that they don't expect either of them to be coming out in 2021, which, always disappointing. I want Diablo 4 to be here. I'm excited for Diablo 4. But there's no way it's coming out until at least late 2022. There's absolutely no way. I mean, what they showed, I was surprised at how much they showed at the reveal when they did it at BlizzCon, and I genuinely think it was only because the entire like shareholder room was currently being set ablaze with the fan rage that was happening over Diablo Immortal, which may have been a little bit unwarranted, but you know, I've been vocal about the fact that I'm a supporter for Diablo Immortal before, just you know, not in lieu of a main game. But a main game is coming, but it'll come when it's ready. People like to talk a lot about like how Blizzard as a company has changed and things like that, and they're not the people they used to be and stuff like that. And to an extent, that's true. But at the same time, looking specifically about how many new releases Blizzard puts out, you know, I don't know of any game company that gets given as much time as Blizzard does to put out games. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like just looking at the gap between like I would say only World of Warcraft expansions, you know, and even that's an expansion for a game that already exists. Like those happen every 2 years, and I think that is the most frequent release that Blizzard does is every 2 years, and it's only an expansion. Outside of that, it's like once every 4 to 7 years is what we're looking at for new games. You know?
Yeah.
So like these are the guys who are taking the time to get it right.
Yeah.
Like I think with coming back to Cyberpunk again, I there've been plenty of games that could be used as examples of this, but like obviously Cyberpunk's a really fresh one where if they had just taken a little more time with their game and polished it a little more, it probably would have been a lot more well received. Granted, there were some missed promises and such, but I think after Cyberpunk, for me personally, as someone who was like really excited for that game, and I still very much enjoyed it, but like I have no quarrels with developers taking their time to make games anymore. That ship has sailed in my eyes. I think if you can make me a really good game, as long as it doesn't come out by the time I'm like 30 years old, we're good.
Yeah, most definitely. Also, I'm a good idea. Thank you so much for the follow. We appreciate it. Welcome in. But looking at Cyberpunk specifically, the original release date was April 16th, 2020. I mean, could you imagine what state the game would have been in if it had released on that date?
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
for giving companies time, in this case of Cyberpunk, in total, it's been in the works for 16 years, but they've only been working on this version of it for like 4, if I remember correctly, because they just moved to a new setup. Basically, they just completely scrapped it and redid it. And every game is buggy as heck on release. Like, so if you think Cyberpunk's bad, you should have seen Skyrim, any Bethesda game really.
You could download Skyrim right now, and it'll be like
you can download Skyrim right now. It's just as bad as Cyberpunk. Like, let me tell you. But going back to Blizzard getting a lot of time, I feel like the reason people as fans give Blizzard a lot of time to pump out new games because every game they've pumped out has been a hit.
Yeah,
it's been a major success. World of Warcraft hit, Overwatch hit, StarCraft 1 hit, StarCraft 2 hit, even HOTS, which is technically like a spin-off game for this series, has like a huge cult following still, and and they just completely scrapped any form of team they had on there. Just like, yeah, go work on Overwatch. So now it's not getting like regular updates as before, and it's not getting as much support. It's still a cult classic game for them, and they're just every game they put out, despite it being years and years and years till they put it out, immediately hit, millions over and over again.
I mean, realistically, like a game like Here's the Storm specifically, and I'm kind of glad that you brought this one up, like that would be what many people would consider to be one of Blizzard's most recent failures, I feel like. And that game came out in 2015. And currently, like, it's got 4.4K viewers on Twitch. So I mean, this is a game that's currently sitting above like Dark Souls 3 and Madden Madden 21, like, you know, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, it is above games that people like to watch. You know what I mean?
That ain't bad at all, dude. 4K.
Like, and for a game that's considered to be a failure to be that big years after release, after Blizzard has essentially said that they're putting it on maintenance mode, they're not doing like any more esports or anything like that. They're still doing like small content updates and releasing new characters. So the game's not exactly dead, but it's definitely in maintenance mode. And for a game that is that old to be put on maintenance mode and still be bringing in money and viewers and an audience and like all this stuff on a regular basis and getting cool in-game events, it's a big deal, you know? So give Blizzard the time. They'll take the time. It'll be good. That's how I see it.
It's fun. It caters to a specific audience.
Yeah.
Here's the Storm was my first MOBA.
Yeah.
I had a friend try to teach me League of Legends when I was younger. I just couldn't understand it. I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
Here's the Storm is my first MOBA. It keeps it simple. The gameplay is really, really fast, even compared to some of the faster MOBAs, like how Smite is now. They've definitely sped stuff up with Season 8 and Smite, but it's super fast. It's fast paced. It's fun. You've got a wider range of characters that all have like they're all so unique and they're all fan favorites.
Yeah.
So you're obviously getting free press from literally any other Blizzard fan base for any other game they have because literally every other game is in that game. It's all included. It caters and it does it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely gave it the Super Smash Brothers treatment. Honestly, I mean, it's the Super Smash Brothers MOBA, if we're being honest, you know, a little bit more casual than all the other options, definitely more accessible, but at the same time on the high end, very technical. So there's something there for the people who want to get hardcore and grind too. And I think that's awesome. So I'm excited for the release of Overwatch 2. Diablo 4, obviously, I love anything with loot. I love anything with progression like that. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that later today with reward systems and games and things like that too. So I'm excited to get into our topic, but Tom's Guide gave us another bit of news. Microsoft sold out a Series X stock almost immediately with bots and scalpers at every corner of restocking individual stores with them. AMD, the manufacturer that makes the Series X CPU and GPU, are also short on chips, and the stock for the Series X has planned to return in June. So we might be looking at console shortages all the way into summer. Are you surprised? Even a little bit?
Nope.
Trashy?
Not at all.
Surprised?
I'm in this camp of I'm not surprised because I've been to concerts, I've been to stuff like that. I know what scalpers are. This isn't my first rodeo, but at the same time, it's like when you have, because this is gotta be one of the most hyped console releases ever, like of all time. People getting excited. You gotta think, like, did the company not have the foresight? Like, hey, let's like just double or triple what we're making right now for release at least, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just shocking to me that they didn't have the foresight for it. That's what I'm surprised about.
And see, here's
to me, it almost feels like they do it on purpose. Like they want it to be some type of like limited, get it while you can type of thing. You know what I mean? And then that makes other people who don't have it want it even more. And then I could honestly foresee this shortage going on well past the next holiday season.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, real quick, just real fast. Shadowfall, thank you so much for gifting that tier 1 sub to Amazing. He just came in here and said his sub ran out, and you got him with it real quick. So thank you so much, Shadow. We appreciate you, and you're awesome. Also, they've been complimenting you on your leopard print robe, also, or cheetah print. Cheetah print.
Honest,
sorry.
I didn't even notice the robe until now. I thought you were wearing like just something. That's a robe.
Yeah, it's a robe.
Very fresh, dude.
Very fly. I applaud that.
Thank you.
I like that a lot.
But speaking specifically to creating artificial demand for your supply by shorting stock, the only companies that I know of that for sure do this are GameStop puts out limited quantities of collectible items for sure. Taco Bell takes away their nacho fries every couple of months, and I cry inside. And then on top of that, Nintendo also does limited releases for games, like they are doing with one of the Super Mario collection or whatever, that like the 3D collection.
Yeah,
Sunshine Galaxy and 64
All Stars.
Yeah,
Super Mario All Stars.
So, I personally, like for console releases, I do not see Sony or Microsoft wanting to not put out enough consoles, especially because they know how much they'll sell right now. Like these are companies that if the supply was there right now would be making so much money. Everybody's at home because of COVID. Everybody's getting stimulus checks. Even the people that are working still are getting stimulus checks as long as they're not making a certain amount more per year. I mean, and so for some people,
happen to be 600.
You see what I'm saying? Like, do you see where I'm going with that? It is the perfect extra amount of money to supplement you buying a new console. If they had the supply available, they would be pushing it out right now of all time, you know, like more than ever in the past. And realistically, gaming is growing, not shrinking, you know, it's getting bigger, not smaller. So constantly every single year, no matter how much supply they have, there is a limited amount of resources available from all these people who are supplying the chips and things like that. So you got to think like it is hard to keep up with all that demand, especially because working in a warehouse, developing those chips or wherever it is that they develop all of their stuff to be able to put in the consoles, all those people right now have to be careful of COVID. For me personally, like my job has slowed down a lot because of COVID, you know? Like the things that we're available to do, we're not able to work within 6 feet of each other anymore. Everybody has to be wearing a mask all the time. We have to be constantly washing our hands, changing gloves, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like trying to make sure that we are being as safe as possible to prevent the spread of this disease. And so you got to think, like, how much has been slowed down, how many people are calling out, how many people are getting sick, having to stay home from all these places. And it's pretty much, we've hit this critical mass of people have all of this free time, and then we have all of this demand for the console, and the gaming industry is growing at the same time, and there's a virus preventing people from doing their job good. So it's like 4 pillars that have just elevated gaming, okay, to a new level, all right? And we just can't keep up. There's too much. I think we're going to be short through the holidays, 100%. I think Devin's absolutely right.
Yeah, I don't. It'll be that way for a while, I think.
They already missed the holiday season. This big thing, their big release was right before this past Christmas. I was like, oh, cool! I got enough money to buy a Series X for my like late Christmas gift. I'm still looking for places that'll have them in stock. So seeing that it's in June, because my birthday's in June, I'm like, well, maybe I get Series X for my birthday. Fingers crossed, because I have the original model of Xbox One. I need to update soon. Like it's the thing of like I want the Series X.
You might get your chance if you catch one in June. Yeah, that'd be a stellar birthday gift.
Most definitely. Yeah, and like Teddy in the chat said, that's also why content creation has been growing since COVID. It keeps people home, so that's all they have to do. And yeah, I definitely think so. I think we're going to see a lot more people, starting to get into photo editing, video editing, content creation, YouTube videos, vlogging. TikTok's been blowing up even more. Like, I mean,
my OnlyFans has been through the roof.
Oh, there we go. Like, it's got to be the cheetah print robe. It has to be. I mean, that's the only answer.
Nothing underneath. Just
anything else? Oh, nothing underneath. I was gonna ask you if anything else matched underneath.
Just not while we're live. We can't get TOS out here. Erica said she's still trying to find the Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch. Yeah. I mean, there's been shortages on stuff like that for days. Devin's about to show you his right now.
I gotta flex real quick. Hang on. For anyone listening, let me just hit y'all with the flex. The Animal Crossing Switch.
Yep.
All right, sorry.
All good. No worries.
Apparently, another thing we've got the Mario theme Switch just dropped. So like it's
I saw that. That looked cool.
I mean, it's
that's all right.
It's fine. It's a red Switch, Yeah. Like
did you guys see the Monster Hunter Switch?
No, I don't think I did.
I have not.
I would recommend giving that a look. That's probably honestly, it made me kind of regret getting an Animal Crossing Switch because it is so cool. Like, if anything, I want to get the Pro Controller. It's got like this black and gold color scheme to it with like a that Monster Hunter type art design. I don't know what monster it is, but it's on the back, and then
what you mean.
The Pro controllers are all gold and black. It's very cool looking.
Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Legend of Zelda Wii U.
Yeah,
the Wind Waker one.
It does look like that.
It was like the black and gold like that, and like the designs like that on the controllers. Yeah. Very. I like that a lot. That looks good. I'm not a Monster Hunter player, but good thing that none of these Nintendo Switches ever come with games, so I don't have to worry about that. I can just get a cool looking console and not have to play Monster Hunter anyways. And I think that's the biggest thing that stands out for me is we've had like 16 like major releases for Super Mario in the last year, and like none of these are bundled with this. Like not even one?
Yeah, that is weird. I didn't think about that.
Does that feel a little strange? I mean,
it does.
I got my 3DS. It was like the 30-year anniversary for Luigi or some crap, and it was like it's a silver 3DS and has Mario and Luigi on it. And I remember that coming with one of the 3DS games, Mario ones. It was like I'd never played it.
Inside Story.
It was no. It was the one where they like they're in the dream or whatever, and Luigi's like the main character.
Yeah. I remember.
Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Mario and Luigi Dream Team.
Dream Team. That's it.
Yeah, Mario and Luigi Dream Team. That's the one.
That game, I never played it, but I remember that was a bundle that I can remember. But other than that, like nothing for the Switch.
So another like prominent game release that came out though, something that I wanted to make sure to bring up, Valheim. They released a like Steam community update that they hit 1 million units sold in the first week. This game's been blowing up. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it's currently still sitting at overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. I'm gonna double check real fast, but I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I've seen a lot of people playing it lately. Like this
every
last couple days, it's crazy.
yeah, every circle of friends that I have has been like, dude, you should get Valheim. And I mean,
Yeah.
these are people that know I don't like survival games that are telling me to play this game. And I'm like, but maybe, you know, like I'm almost tempted just because other people are getting it too. Like, do y'all ever hit that point where it's just like the hype kind of gets the better of you? Yeah, it's overwhelmingly positive right now. 30,000 reviews.
That's why I ended up playing Fortnite at one point.
That's why I bought a Switch.
Yeah, but I mean, like I look at things like this and like it looks cool. You know, I'm a really big fan of the art style. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit it's a little bit like
cool.
cell shaded almost. Like it reminds me very much of like kind of bare bones Unity 3D art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm talking about? Like I kind of dig that art style, like almost what you see in like Unity 3D mobile games. You know what I mean? But like dialed up to 11. And I'm a little bit here for that. I like the simplistic art style a lot. It looks fun, and I like that it's like 10-man servers. I think that's cool. I don't know personally if you can do more than that. I haven't seen or looked into it too good, but like just reading through some of the reviews, like there was one that I read on Steam, and I'm gonna read this real quick because it like really stuck out to me. And the guy said, "Found beach, built nice hut on beach. Storm started storm watching. Tsunami came. No more hut. GG." And I was like, yeah. Okay, so that tells me just about everything I need to know about this game. You gather things, you build huts, there's weather effects. Nice. And obviously there's more to it than that, but I mean, this game's definitely been kind of taken Steam by storm and the whole like gaming like community. And I don't think anybody saw this coming, I'll be honest.
Are you thinking about getting it? How on a scale of 1 to 10, how close do you think you are to wanting to buy this game?
Oh, I want to buy it. Yeah. I just like would need to have time to play it. That is the only reason I haven't got it yet.
If you buy it, let me know, bro. I like survival games, so that's an easy pickup for me.
So actually seeing as how I'm going to be having a little bit more free time soon, I'm wanting to set aside 1 day a week, because right now I've been playing a ton of Smite. I mean, anybody who's in here knows I've been playing Smite, and I've been enjoying it a lot, but I want to set aside 1 day a week to stream something else. And just do a different game, just something a little bit more variety, do something with the community, that sort of thing. And I was talking to Shoria a little bit about it too on his stream the other day, about potentially just loading up some Valheim with a couple of other content creators and having some fun. And I think that might be a good thing to do if you guys would be down for that. So just, you know, ideas that are in the works that might potentially be coming soon if that's something you might be into. But Valheim selling 1 million units first week, I mean, I'm happy for these guys. You know, they're constantly in communication with their community. The players love the game. They love the developers, all that stuff. And I think that when I look at the gameplay and I watch people play this game, like I look at this and I'm like, these are the kind of people that I want to see in the gaming industry. You know what I mean? Like everything about this game tells me that they love the product that they've made and they enjoyed putting it together and they love how it turned out and they're proud of it. And I feel like that pride in their work and that love for their work and that passion for the things that they're doing is a little bit lost on some of the bigger games. You know, like there hits a point where there's so much money and they're just trying to push out the product and get it done. And there's so many expectations that shareholders have and bosses and talking heads and all that stuff. And like so much weight on developers nowadays that I feel like gaming's lost a lot of the passion that it used to have. So it's cool to see games like this come out and do this well, you know, because people see that and they recognize it. So
true.
I'm excited for more games like that to come out in the future.
Sounds like a topic idea to me, Vince.
Definitely. Yeah. Let's say write that down real quick. Put it in the notes. Yeah. Quick, get on it before it's gone.
But my big thing, I had a friend that was streaming it earlier. I saw a little bit of it. I wasn't able to watch too long. It looks really cool. I haven't really played a whole lot of survival games, so at first glance to me it looked like Rust a bit, but you know, yield. Yeah. But since it's obviously doing really, really well on its release, my question honestly would be like, I'm wondering, is this like a flavor of the week kind of game, or is it actually going to be like popular? Because if you remember Fall Guys, for example, insanely popular, did amazing on release, got nothing but positive reception. And don't get me wrong, it's still really popular, still going very, very strong, but it went from being like everywhere, like almost like a pop culture phenomenon, and then now it's just kind of like, oh yeah, Fall Guys. Cool.
I think, Fall Guys. In my opinion, I feel like a lot of survival game, like that genre in specific, the survival genre, falls victim to the flavor of the week thing like a lot more than any other genre does. So I think it's a possibility, but
at the same time,
Starve Together.
Oh gosh, don't start. I feel like survival games specifically do flavor of the week a little bit different. I think that they do the flavor of the week thing or
It's
flavor of
unique,
the month
huh?
per se,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah,
I feel like they rotate. Pretty
Yeah,
much
I
like
agree.
every single one gets a new content update or a new one comes out and something like that, and they all kind of like scoot over and make a little bit of room for the new guy to have his moment in the sun, and then they come
Yeah.
back with their new content update. And like it's a
Yeah.
cycle that I think works really well for survival games because like I'm not a
Yeah,
fan of
yeah,
most
it's
of them
cool.
personally, but I've seen like Fallout 76 even have its moment in the sun and then fall back out and then have another moment in the sun,
It's making
and
a
Rust
return,
come
yeah.
in and out, and
They-
Ark come in and out, and like even what was that terrible pirate game Atlas? Even that one has its
Atlas,
moment
yeah,
every now and then,
Atlas.
and it's still complete garbage. But like I think that it's okay. I think that this is definitely a game that's going to be
No, it's-
really, really big for probably. I would say that we haven't even hit its biggest point yet. Potentially,
Nah,
I think
no
it's
way.
still currently in the process
Yeah,
of blowing up.
It's still climbing
Um,
for sure.
And I think that it's probably going to peak sometime in the next 2 months, drop off a little bit, and then get another big content update or a private server, kind of like Rust did, recently
Yeah.
when Rust was blown up big, and then it'll swing back in again. That's what I see happening.
Survival games are cool like that because you're right. They just take turns, and it's funny
Yeah.
because it's the same thing. I think that's why it works so well is because like all survival games, a lot have their own little niches, but at the end of the day, they're all kind of the same thing. Find water, eat food, make shelter, and maybe get a little PvP going. I don't know, like it, but so when these new ones come in, it's like, oh, same thing, but a little more fresh. Or those updates you talked about, same thing, but it's got it's got bears now. Like survival games have a
New take
very
on
like
something familiar.
yeah, they have a very like simplified uniqueness to them. It's I don't know. I like survival though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazing said, all my friends are playing this game, so I guess I have to buy it. Yeah, that's pretty much the sentiment right there, Amazing. You kind of hit the nail on the head for me. I'm very, like, I love peer pressure, so if other people are doing things and they look like they're having fun, I'm all in. Sounds good.
That's
We'll
about
take that.
gaming in a nutshell for me. I think if it wasn't for the friends I made when I was younger, I wouldn't have even been as into games as I am now.
Yeah, and something Erica said that I wanted to point out too, said that some other streamers I watch have played it. They said it's a different kind of survival game, and I actually read a little bit about this game, and one of the stories that I read on Reddit kind of stood out to me, and this guy was talking about how they tried to build a fire inside of their house to keep warm or whatever. I don't know if like temperature is a thing in the game, but they did try to build a fire inside of their house for some reason, because I think it was raining outside, maybe, and the rain was putting out the fire. I'm like struggling to remember exactly the circumstances, but they built the fire inside of their house, and they didn't have enough ventilation in the house and started to choke. So they had to build a chimney. So they built a chimney, but then rain poured in the chimney, put out the fire. So then they built a little like roof over their chimney, like a little thing to let the rain run off. And that way they had a chimney that would let the smoke out, but water wouldn't get inside of the chimney, so the smoke could go out and they could sit inside with the fire without choking.
That's hardcore, dude. That's hardcore.
And when I read that, like that was kind of the tipping point for me where I was like, okay, fine, maybe we'll give this a look.
They thought about it in depth. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I have one question for you, just on the topic of survival games. Since we're here, have you ever seen or played Green Hell before?
I've heard of it. I have not played it.
Okay, that game, you gave me some PTSD when you started talking about all the realistic elements of that game, man. If you guys like survival games and you want a challenge, play Green Hell. That game is terrible. I refunded it because it was too hard. I didn't like it. It was too hard, but maybe someone who's looking for that challenge might like it. I just wanted to see if you guys have ever heard of it or played it.
Well, it's like, what's that game? Scum?
Scum was cool. I played a little bit of Scum with one of my buddies.
But they took like realism in that game and dialed that all the way up to 11, I feel like, with like the things that you have to account for in the game. Like
you had to like monitor your vitamin intake and like
that's what it was.
It was crazy.
That sounds like too much to me, honestly. Like I don't want to have to worry about that stuff. The thing about thinking about having to build the chimney and all that,
it was, you didn't have to monitor vitamin intake or anything, but it was like the things you did have to monitor were just so like excruciating to maintain. It was tough, man.
Yeah,
imagine. Played Metro 2033 as a kid, and it was like, wow, so realistic. I gotta change my air filters on my gas mask.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about vitamin intake.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's come a long way.
Nuts.
That's for sure. So Moving on to our topic for today, we're talking about reward systems in games, and this is one that TrashySweetheart actually suggested for us, and I think this is something that I'm kind of excited to talk about and glad to talk about. But so, reward systems in games is something that's been reiterated, redeveloped upon, reimagined in so many different ways. I mean, I think that the most recent example of this is the Battle Pass. I think before that, it may have been daily login rewards would have been the most recent thing. And sometime around the same time as daily login rewards happened, loot boxes / gacha mechanics, I believe kind of came up around the same time. And then before that, it was like unlockables in games and like experience for your character and gear, like all specifically in-game rewards. Also, Olivia, thank you so much for the 1 bit. We appreciate it. But like, I look at, you know, how it's evolved over time, and it's so interesting because all of these systems are in place to put something inside of you that makes you want to come back and play the game again. You know, that's realistically, that's the purpose, you know, it's to say, yes, I've accomplished something here and make you feel good about it. So, I mean, before we get specifically into the questions, I mean, is there anything that you want to specifically bring up or discuss or anything like that in regards to reward systems and games? We'll start with you, Trash. You got any thoughts or anything you want to just get out there right off the bat?
Well, my thing is a reward system in game is always placed not to like make up for a lack of fun gameplay, because at the end of the day, fun gameplay is why anyone will ever return to a game, is because they enjoy it, they think it's fun, they find the gameplay interesting, because that's the most important thing ever. It's there to give you some extra incentive, like of if gameplay is all you have to offer, the reward systems is there to give you some form of goal if you're not someone trying to get like a higher rank in a game. Like against our most familiar game, Smite, for example. The gameplay is all it's really got to offer. It's got no single player. It's just a MOBA. But when you have when you have all your chests and your skins, you're like, oh, I can save up for this skin. Oh, I can save up for this skin and all that. It's something to keep you coming back. Like, oh, cool. This character looks even cooler like this. You know?
Yeah.
That's all it's really there for nowadays. I should say that's all it's really there for nowadays.
Yeah.
With how battle passes, loot boxes, all that is.
Most definitely. What about you, Devin? Any thoughts?
I think you guys wrapped up a lot of the major points I would have to say about that. I'm ready to get into the questions. I'm sure any thoughts I have will come up while we're discussing it. I think you guys got a good little intro going here. So
most definitely. And Teddy Stormberg said, I think it has to be a fine line though, because some games may end up pay to win, but also if there is cosmetics, then I think people won't have a problem with it. Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. I feel like people definitely are more receptive to like having to purchase cosmetics with real money, and which is interesting because that's basically like a reward system for being an adult and going to work and getting paid. Is like having
a mom credit card.
Real money transactions. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Mom with a credit card. That's the real one, isn't it? I say every time you saw a kid in Fortnite with the John Wick skin, you know he's not working. You know he's getting that paid for. But like, I think specifically it can be frustrating a lot of times and make the reward feel a lot less rewarding when pay to win gets brought up. You know?
Yeah.
Like whenever that's an aspect of the game, it's kind of frustrating to look at someone else and see all their gear and stuff like that and wonder if they bought it. You know?
It
like
is.
Especially when you worked for it.
I feel like that kind of thing gives you a like a scapegoat when you're getting mad at a game. If you know that there's those pay to win elements, you're like, yeah, screw that guy. He probably just bought all his stuff. He didn't work for it like I did. Like,
yeah, most definitely
causes toxicity too. You know.
Yeah. So
well,
I mean, go ahead.
There's a bit of a difference because some games it's just straight up pay to win. Like because some games it's absolutely egregious. Where it's like if to get this high weapon, you can either give us like high level weapon $15, or you can spend like 3 days grinding for it specifically, you know?
There's a gray area for it.
I even feel like 3 days is being generous, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like most times it's like you can spend a month and a half grinding this, or you can pay $15 to get it done in 30 minutes.
But
Warframe.
The general gist, even then, it's like some games like, hey, if you don't want to spend the time that it takes to save up currency for something like that, go ahead, put the money into it. But if it's like egregiously like, if you're trying to progress this normally, you're not gonna get anywhere, bud. You gotta put in some money.
Okay,
you know, it's just.
You guys, what was it? It was Battlefield 2, I think, that had a really big problem with that. Wasn't there with the people would buy the loot boxes, and if you had the cards that were like more
Oh,
upgraded, then
oh yeah.
you just devastated everybody. I th- that
Man, yeah, I don't know. That was
stuff
Star
like
Wars
that is
Battlefront 2. Yeah,
absurd.
yeah, most definitely. Even the deluxe
Yeah.
edition of the game, I think, came with early unlocks for a couple of weapons and a character. And that was just
Yeah.
the $10 more version, and that sucked. But something that Totally Nice Fox said, that brings me back to the good old days of Combat Arms. He just spoke like directly to my inner 13-year-old. I spent so much time playing Combat Arms, and it was such an awful like free-to-play shooter, but it was free, and like the economy system
Yeah.
was absolutely terrible. He said you have to grind for a week to get a rental for any good gun. Yeah, pretty much. Or you could like spend like $100 real to get a chance at a permanent gun. I think was it that game? Might have been Crossfire too. It was another one that I played that was really bad like
gamble?
that. But
You had to gamble $20.
Gamble, yeah.
yeah, like loot boxes with a chance to get a permanent weapon type thing. It was so bad, dude. It was really bad. But
How about that one?
yeah. Yeah, both did that. Okay, thank you, Nice Fox. Yeah, thank you for that
It's
call
that
back to my
egregious.
childhood too. I appreciate it. It was so much fun, but gosh, like if I had been aware as a child of how bad those business practices were, I would not have supported those games. But I
Yeah,
was just
dude.
having fun shooting my
Oh,
friends for
no.
free, so that was okay. I got my money's worth. But
Yeah.
so moving on to the questions, though, potentially the hottest new reward system that we've got today. How do you feel about battle passes? I mean, we're gonna start with you on this one, Devin. How do you feel about battle passes across the board, or any that stand out to you as really good, really bad, any of that stuff?
Frankly, for a long time, I felt a little bothered about battle passes because I was like, I don't want to. I'm the kind of guy I want to work for things in the game without having to spend any money. I don't want your shortcuts, okay? But as I've done with this podcast with Vince, we've discussed battle passes many times now, and my opinions have changed on battle passes. I'm beginning to see that they're actually kind of cool. If you play a game a lot and you're willing to spend, $10 to $15 on a game that you play all the time for free stuff that could amount to hundreds of dollars if they were sold on like the game's individual market or whatever, like I think it's a cool progression system as long as I think as long as they keep it reasonable, like you don't have to. I like the word egregious. You don't have to spend an egregious amount of time playing this game to get something you pay for, because that's a little bumming when you pay $10 for a battle pass and you can't even like finish it out because everyone's got stuff going on. We can't just sit around and
Grind
play
the game all day.
Valorant or play Fortnite for 8 hours every single day.
Yeah, most
So
definitely.
some of them feel a little long, I guess, is my biggest con for battle passes.
Yeah. And one thing I want to shout out real quick is Jakey B in the chat just said, "Hey Vince, first time tuning into the podcast. Keep it up, yo. We stand compliments out here. We appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jakey B.
To all the
Appreciate you, man.
live viewer fans, y'all are awesome. I appreciate you guys. But like specifically what you said about the time investment, I think that's very true. I think that battle passes can be some of the best reward in video games, but I think that like Riot Games specifically might be the biggest offender of this, and that the battle pass that you purchase, you can't pay for the next one if you earn all of the levels of the battle pass, which is something that's been part of battle passes since it was kind of invented in Fortnite. Is being able to grind to a certain point and pay for the next one, so that way you can continue earning rewards as long as you're investing time into the game. And I mean, even Apex Legends does that. Smite's another company that doesn't do the one where you can earn enough to pay for another one, I believe. I think you're like a couple hundred gems short or something like that. But like, at least the Smite one, you level up quickly. The Valorant Battle Pass, I think, is
super fast.
The Valorant Battle Pass, I think, is one of the worst battle passes in gaming.
Mind-numbing.
It's
on top of the fact that game is already extremely frustrating. Who wants to play that game that long?
Yeah, it's
get all those rewards. I'm sorry.
It's a little too much. I think that Valorant is one of the games that definitely crosses the line, but I think overall I've been very pleased with battle passes. And Trashy, I want to give you a chance to answer the question too. So, I mean, how do you feel about battle passes? What's the thought here? What do you think?
I'm mixed. Like you said, it kind of comes down to execution. I'm a big fan of Smite's battle passes, because what I'm like kind of like dwelling on is not so much the fact that you have to pay for it, because a majority of things that have a battle pass, games that have a battle pass, it's you have a free lane and you have a paid lane, you know? Like you have those two. And with Smite, I like the free lane, how they've implemented it, because like at the end of every one, you get like a nice skin. For the free one, you'll get a skin, which is amazing because they make so much money off of that. but on the way you get some pretty good stuff as far as Smite goes, like in their battle pass, the free one. When I played Fortnite, their free battle pass didn't give you a damn thing worth anything. Like it was you pay for it or you're gonna get, oh look, a loading screen. Oh my god, I
You're
maxed out
like,
my battle pass to get a loading screen. I'm so honored. Like,
here's a little picture you can throw out in the middle of the
yeah,
game with a thumbs up on it. Like
yeah.
you ever even do that?
Guess what you can do with this thumb? Oh
Yeah,
man,
Yeah,
yeah.
for me, it's like if you're gonna have a free lane, at least have some good stuff in the free lane because no matter what, you're gonna be putting a lot of time into that game, and that's what game developers want. They want you to put more and more time into their game. So if you're gonna implement a battle pass, at least make the free one a bit worth a damn. So
yeah.
I feel like Smite does that well. I feel like Fortnite when I played it, at least I haven't played it in some time. I played it right when they were adding battle pass. So when they first started out, it was pretty much just go, yeah, you battle pass isn't shit unless you pay the $10 for it. You know,
Yeah.
it's
I agree with most of what you said. I think it's cool. Battle passes like
oh yeah,
with the free lane and the paid lane. Obviously the paid lane you're going to get a lot more things,
oh yeah, and
probably a lot
better,
cooler things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you should if you're going to spend money in
of
the game.
course.
Yeah.
But from a business perspective, I feel like they still have to walk that fine line between making like the free version of their game both like I guess rewarding but
Yeah,
also enticing. Like they at the end of the day they are a business. They do want you to purchase their battle pass and their skins. So if they can do that in any way, flash that fancy skin at the end of the battle pass that you could get if you paid for it, like I
yeah,
think that's another interesting aspect to battle passes, I think, because they make them they give you that free route for a reason. They want to put that thought in
yeah,
your brain, like I could be getting all of this stuff right now if I just paid for it.
But at the same time, for the people who are strictly free-to-play players, I think that it's good that they are doing the free, like
It is cool.
the
I'm
free
not
lane.
arguing that at all.
And I
oh
actually
yeah,
think it's important that they're doing it from a business
Yeah.
standpoint.
Mhm.
Even though they aren't making money off of every like single person who plays the free lane, they're actually technically losing money because they're not getting paid for that specific work they did. But at the same time, when you make your free-to-play players feel valued, and this is kind of something that's sprung up in the gaming industry, I would say in the last 10 years, the number of people that are currently playing your game or currently watching your game matters. And
Yep.
all of the people who are free-to-play players that play your game, they do like to see all the cool stuff in game, and they watch your game on Twitch, most likely, you know, unless they're just someone who doesn't like Twitch, and there's plenty of people out there who don't like Twitch, they don't care about content creation, they're not interested. But the people who do, those free-to-play players, they love going on and seeing their favorite streamers using cool skins and using cool weapon skins and seeing, you know, all the new content that they have in the game and all this stuff, things that they can't buy. It's like people who watch single-player games played by other people because they don't want to go spend $60 on a single-player game. And every single person who is going into those channels and watching those channels is boosting their Twitch numbers, it's boosting their concurrent Steam numbers, and people care about those numbers when they're looking at whether or not they should buy a game. I mean, there are MMORPG games that currently are considered dead because they don't have a lot of players, even though there is still a ton of content in those games, they will never be touched because they're dead. So, you know, the real value that they're getting by making their free-to-play players feel valued is, I mean, the word of mouth, because they're going to be like, oh, look at this stuff that I can just get for playing and I don't even have to pay a dime. You know what I mean? So they're going to go tell their friends, hey, this game's free, come play it with us, you know? So then their friends are going to come, and maybe their friends are the type of people who want to spend money, you know?
What the game that always comes to mind for me when I think of that scenario is Rainbow Six Siege. How that game was like initially just kind of a flop. Nobody really noticed it, and then they started working on the free aspect of that game. They gave it free weekends on Steam. Eventually, even I don't. The starter is not free, is it? It's like $15, but
I don't know. Yeah,
I think
something
they have
like
a
that.
$15 starter edition where you didn't have to pay the full price of the game, but you could play the whole game, and you got to pick like 2 operators.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you bought the full game, you had access to like all the defaults or whatever. But I've never, that I know of at least, I've never seen a game come back the way that game came back, I think, because of the way that they focused on like the just making a game that wasn't performing well, a little more accessible to people with rewards. Like it was pretty phenomenal, I think.
Yeah.
Great. Whoever their marketer is deserves a raise, dude. He's great.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, Roach specifically said free weekends on PS4 also, and that was another thing that they were doing. They did free
Yeah.
weekends on PS4. They did it on Steam. I don't know if they
On
did it on
Steam.
Xbox. I never played Rainbow Six
they
on
did.
Xbox. They did as well. Okay, awesome. And yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and I think that it paid off big time for them. You know, and
Absolutely.
there's definitely
They're
something to be
huge.
said for making, you know, people who don't have all of the, you know, money in the world feel rewarded for what they're doing. And I think that Rainbow Six is definitely a game that does that well. I think the Alpha Pack system is cool. They could up the percentage gain from each match a little bit more, as far as like how frequently you're getting the cosmetic packs, because I don't know how much you played that, but that kind of like segues us into our next like topic as well of loot boxes. So we're kind of like already heading that way. But I mean, how do you guys feel about loot boxes? We'll start with you on this one, Trashy. What do you have an opinion on loot boxes as a reward specifically? Not something to purchase, not only looking at the gambling mechanics, just as a reward. How do you feel about getting a chest?
Feels nice just getting free stuff handed to me. That always feels nice, and this like point kind of also ties into the last question as well. For a lot of things, when you make stuff free, like if you have a free game or you just have a lot of the stuff be free, I feel like people are more willing to put money into a free game if you're giving a bit more handouts. Like, oh wait, I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more. I haven't spent money on this yet, but I can put a little bit into it. You know, like like for Smite did a big thing not too long ago where they had a huge gem sale. All the exclusive skins that you normally had to get through chests and stuff like that were all on sale for actual gems. I put $70 into the game immediately.
Yeah,
Because in my opinion, because my big thing, whenever I spend money on games, my rule of thumb is an hour of playtime to $1 is amazing.
Yeah.
If I spend $60 on a game, I expect to get 60 hours out of it. I've gotten well over 100 on Smite already, so I had no issue putting $70 in. I've put over $300 into Overwatch loot boxes alone. So let me tell you, when I talk about loot boxes, I know what I'm saying, man. Like it's a fun thing, and when you have the seasonal ones, it's really fun to go and get them. The roll of the dice makes it feel even more fun. It's amazing seeing like your legendary cosmetic that you've been begging like RNGesus for the past week to get dropped down. Oh my gosh. I was ecstatic one time because during the Summer Games event in Overwatch, I got 2 Summer Games legendaries in one loot box, and I lost my mind. Like,
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, man. I think loot boxes do have a strange way of hitting your brain, like
oh yeah,
like any like no other reward system we have here. I think like you said, just the feeling of seeing those legendaries pop up or that one skin or whatever you really wanted.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And if you can get those for free by like natural in-game progression, then I say even better. As long as the loot boxes don't involve pay to win features or are just like absolutely rigged, then
cosmetic.
I don't have as long as they're cosmetic or not rigged, I don't have a problem with them at all. I kind of get a thrill out of it too. So
yeah. And I mean, for me personally, looking at loot boxes, I think that I like loot boxes overall because, I mean, like personally, I do enjoy gambling. I mean, I love playing cards, I love luck, I love dice, all of it. You know, even like rolling dice in Dungeons and Dragons, it's fun. You know what I mean? Like I've been, I grew up playing poker. I started playing when I was, I think, 8 or 9 years old is when I first started learning to play poker. And I mean, it's been just ingrained in me from a very young age, and I love it and I enjoy it. And at the same time, I look at loot boxes, and I think that out of all of the reward systems in a game, short of, and I would put this on the same level as gacha rewards anyways. I feel like those are just glorified loot boxes anyways, but they're just like, here, look, you're getting star characters, and like this many stars. And I think that, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no kidding. And I think that loot boxes are potentially the most predatory of the reward systems in games, because this is one that like it not only encourages you to continue playing to get more loot boxes because you only have a chance to get something that you actually want, it also like gives you an endorphin hit in your mind when you get a reward in general. So you associate the loot box with the good feeling that you get from opening the loot box. And then on top of that, God forbid you get something good and there's something else you want good in the chest. It gives you an even bigger endorphin hit and tells you, oh, I should spend money now potentially on opening up these loot boxes.
You would get if you won a big hand of blackjack at the casino.
Yeah, exactly.
It's at it's essentially gambling, really. That's like it's
it is.
Yeah. So like, I mean, yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. It is extremely predatory in that psychological aspect. As long as I think as long as you don't fall victim to that and you're aware of it, then it's not such a bad thing. But
I think
some people don't realize that.
For me personally, the biggest issue I have with it is in games that children are going to be playing too.
Yeah.
Like children don't know well enough to like, you know, draw that line.
Understand.
You know what I mean?
Going on there.
Yeah, they can't comprehend what's happening in their mind. So it makes them very, very like addicted to the idea of loot boxes and unlocks and all that stuff. So yeah, pretty sketchy.
An incident where a kid who like loved playing FIFA, because in recent FIFA, I wouldn't know, I've never played, but like in recent ones they added like a loot box type system, I guess.
Yeah. Ultimate Team
kid got
card
his mom's
system.
credit card, blew like $1,200.
I think
it's 1,200.
Yeah, I think the mom had to go. Yeah, like 1,200.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Like it absolutely insane amount because the kid wanted to keep rolling to get stuff in game.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's
insane, man.
Yeah, and I mean,
I guess that's also why parental controls exist on consoles and stuff, and also you could just not give your kid your credit card without monitoring.
She did it. He took it from her purse, but you get
that's a grind. I mean,
that's crazy, dude.
That's on them then, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, your internet's going kind of crazy for a second,
you know,
but
like it's insane.
That's where those parental controls come in.
Whatever.
Yeah. But I mean,
hit
like
him with that 69420 passcode lock, he'll never get your
he'll never get 69420. There's no way. But like looking specifically at games like FIFA and Madden, I think that those games are like some of the worst offenders potentially, because not only is it loot boxes, they are not cosmetic. You are legitimately paying to upgrade your team, and I don't know if you can earn those cards and stuff like that inside of game or not. But like specifically, we're talking about reward systems only. But on the topic of only loot boxes, I think that those are the worst. You know, because you can legitimately pay your way to victory every single time, just because you'll get the perfect players with perfect stats and build your team exactly the way that you want. As long as you spend enough money, you'll hit that point eventually. And I think that's messed up and wrong. And I think that it's really a predatory practice. And I think that in general, we have enough really good reward systems that loot boxes don't need to exist in their current iteration. They only exist as a way to kind of take advantage of people and get the money. And that sucks.
Yeah. I think that is a huge aspect of loot boxes. I agree.
So I mean,
personally, as somebody that doesn't get sucked into those like habits, I kind of like them. They're pretty looking sometimes. Yeah,
most definitely.
But yeah, totally. They do have their largely negative side. I agree.
Let's see here, $300 lighter from Overwatch.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. How do you feel about level up rewards, though? I mean, as something that is, I consider to be one of the best reward systems, and I mean level up rewards in any capacity. I mean, in World of Warcraft, you get a level up reward of like, as you gain XP, you level up, you get new abilities, you get access to new equipment, you get new places that you can visit inside of the game. In a game like Smite, you get mastery levels for playing a character a certain amount that allow you to purchase gold, legendary, and diamond skins to show your prowess with a character, as well as a little like emblem under your character to let you know how long you've played. In like Call of Duty, leveling up weapons, things like that. You know,
prestiges.
Like
I say
getting new weapons.
Yeah, unlocking new weapons, all that stuff.
Level up rewards are extremely pog. I think that's just like the rawest form of reward systems in games.
Yeah,
just getting stuff for making your character better. No money involved. Just you in the game.
And something amazing said in the chat is in ESO you get free loot boxes like every 5 levels, and I think that that's kind of funny because they've kind of combined both of the things we just talked about, both loot boxes but also leveling progression, you know. And I think that that's probably like based on how many levels there are in Elder Scrolls Online. I think you said max level was 800 or something like that. I think they've hit a point where they can only give you so much every level, so they're like, here, have a loot box every few levels. And I think Destiny does the same thing. Every time you get like your XP bar filled up after max level, you get a bright engram, which is cosmetic stuff from previous seasons. So
that's another interesting thing I don't believe we wrote down, like the fact that there are some games that have multiple layers of reward systems, like ESO with loot boxes and level up rewards. That how do you feel about that? Do you think that that's like overkill, or like they're looking for too much, looking for money, or do you think they're trying to give more? Quite the opposite.
Oh, also, real quick before I answer your question, Solus One Rage just came in with a raid with a party of 5. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Welcome into the podcast.
Whoa.
It is awesome to have you here. Hopefully your stream went excellent. Hope you're having a good day. But speaking specifically to whether or not it's overkill, I'm like, I think to a certain extent they're just kind of trying to give you sensory overload with the rewards that you can earn in game. You know what I mean? Like kind of
get those
keep
hits, those dopamine hits. It's
exactly
another one of those things.
Yeah, dopamine. That's what I was looking for. I was saying endorphins. It's dopamine for sure. But like looking specifically at something like Elder Scrolls Online, you know, I think it's definitely the type of thing where they're like, here, ignore our terrible combat and just keep getting distracted by the fact that you're getting, you know, small progression gains, you know, just like small insignificant things out of these loot boxes, but you have a really tiny chance of getting something worth a lot of money, okay, that you never would have bought anyways, that you probably don't even want, but it's worth a lot of money, so your brain tells you that you want it, okay? And personally, I mean, and anything that's even a little bit involved with loot boxes, I'm skeptical of, you know? I like that they're giving you more stuff for leveling up, but at the same time, like, it's clearly means to an end.
Yeah.
Like, their intent behind it is not to make you feel rewarded. It's to make you want to spend more money, and that's it. And I get that they're trying to make money, but again, we talked a little bit about, like, the passion in game development being gone a little bit from the industry, from most of the, like, larger developers, and I think that is kind of one of the outcomes of that.
Yeah,
really
Treyarch, sorry.
Yeah, I mean anybody, Activision, you know what I mean?
As a player, I feel like games that mix too many reward systems, sometimes I feel slightly overwhelmed. Like I've downloaded, you know, like some mobile games where I'll play it for a few days and I just have all these messages in my inbox and free loot box rolls and all kinds of messages, like just them giving me so many things just because they want me to play their games so bad. And I'm like, dude, I might have even stuck around and played a little longer if you didn't throw that much stuff in my face. Does that make sense? Like I see through your charade here. I don't.
Yep.
So that's my take. Do you have anything to say about that, Trashy?
For me, like level up reward systems, I feel like are great. I'm a person. I grew up on Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, Black Ops 2, when you leveled up, you'd get new guns. Like after leveling up so many times, and after going so far, you can prestige, where it takes away all your guns and then gives them back to you, so you can keep getting, like, say, oh, I have this skin on these guns, I've got this prestige, just to keep it fresh, you know, stop you from just using like, oh, this one gun. And I feel like in Black Ops 2 specifically, it was really well done because there wasn't objectively like a best gun. There were some bad guns, but there wasn't like a, oh, if you're not level 50 plus and you don't have this amazing, if you don't have DSR, you're screwed, like stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
But all the guns were fun. It kept it fresh when you prestige. And as far as loot boxes and leveling up things go, Overwatch, every level in Overwatch is rewarded with a loot box.
Yeah.
Every level in it. They even, because arcade for the longest time was not a popular, they didn't have popular game modes in arcade. Everyone was like, it's a kind of a gimmick. They incentivized playing arcade with, for every 3 wins, you get a loot box, max to 9 per day, you know? So it was pretty cool because they incentivized it via that, but they don't have like multiple types of reward systems, and you couldn't do like character progression levels up. Like you can't upgrade a character through playing Overwatch because then it's makes it unbalanced.
Yeah.
Because what are you gonna do? You're fresh to the game, level 80 Tracer over there, where her pulse bomb's a nuke like a diva bomb. Like it's
Well, actually,
Well, imagine if they did have character progression and
they
they
are
gave
going
them,
to in Overwatch 2.
is that what's happening?
They're
Okay.
actually going to be
I
having
was gonna
character
get to
progression in
that.
Overwatch 2.
I was
but
gonna say
Overwatch 2 is supposed to be PvE based, and that's the difference. I'm saying it.
It's going to be PvP
Wasn't
as
it?
well.
I thought
I
right.
think they said
They
they'll
are
add PvP.
they are
Yeah.
including a campaign in
What?
Overwatch 2, but it
Crazy.
is also going to be mainly a PvP game. The campaign is going to be shorter, kind of like the PvE
That one
modes that they've
event,
had in
right?
current Overwatch, like the what
Yeah.
was the event called? I'm trying to remember.
Black was it? No, it wasn't
Blackwatch?
Blackwatch.
It might have
Was
been.
it Blackwatch?
It might have been.
I know what you're talking
Oh,
about. I don't
I'm
remember the
very-
name early either. But yeah, no, I also read that it would be campaign and multiplayer.
Archives was one of them for sure. Well,
Yeah.
Archives Retribution event. That's what it was.
Retribution,
I didn't
yeah.
keep up with it. I just saw when it was first announced, it was marketed as PvE Overwatch.
Well, there is
That's
a
what I
full
saw.
campaign coming. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like that was a huge selling point for them because I think a lot of people really like they're enjoying the
We want
lore of
lore.
Overwatch. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
been 4 goddamn years. We don't have any goddamn lore. That's
Yeah.
what we
They
want.
gave us those really dope trailers when the
They
game was coming
retconned-
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, and they got rid of
cool
all
things, new characters, get cool cinematics, and then out of nowhere they'll just scrap lore for a character. Fun fact for anyone that doesn't know, when Overwatch was being announced and released, what they did, Diva, the pro gamer girl player, was originally a pro StarCraft 2 player in the lore.
Yeah.
So, and they went with that, and on their StarCraft 2 esports page, she was listed as one of the Korean players. Coolest little like advertising stunt they've ever done.
That is
Now
cool.
they don't make any reference to that. They say, "Oh no, she's just a pro gamer. She's just an esports player." Not any reference to StarCraft.
Yeah.
Even though one of her lines is increasing my APM, which is basically exclusively a StarCraft term nowadays. Like,
I mean, people
it's
make
just
jokes about it being a
whatever,
Hearthstone
man.
term, but yeah,
But-
it is largely an RTS term. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but as far as progressing characters specifically when it's PvP based, I feel like it's a mixed bag depending on how you balance it. Because if you look at a game like Paladins, what's really cool is once you have you can customize your character and their play style. Because what they do is you have a loadout for them, and it's not a loadout like traditional games, like, oh, I've got my DSR, I've got my 1911 on my sidearm. It's cards. You could go like, oh, this card, you can have a max of 5 cards, and you can max them out in different ways to give you bonus stats. Like, oh, this ability does more damage at the cost of this. This ability does more damage. But you have all those cards when you buy the character. So I'm concerned for Overwatch 2 having character specific progression in PvP, especially considering the fact that Overwatch matchmaking is kind of iffy. Like,
Yeah, very.
It's not polished at all. So it concerns me a bit because, like I said, I don't want to be a level 1 tracer going into seeing the enemy level 80 tracer throw a diva bomb at me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and
Yeah, no
I'm
thanks.
struggling to remember the specific things that they're going to progress, but it's mostly going to be like perks for your character in the same way that Call of Duty does it, I think, but nothing too broken. It
Yeah.
won't be anything that like changes your ultimate that much, or if it does change it, it'll be comparable to your
Yeah.
current one and have another downside that's a little bit different. But
I'm curious to learn more about that game. It sounds like they're gonna do a lot of cool stuff with
you
it.
know what? Now I am too. You're getting me hooked on Overwatch again.
Yeah.
I've actually
I'm
been
not
playing it
touching
the
no
last couple of weeks.
You've been playing?
Yeah.
I have been playing, yes. I did my ranked qualifiers for tank, DPS, and healer, and qualified into plat on all 3.
Well,
So
Don't make me play
Nice.
Overwatch again.
I don't know if you can
no.
qualify higher than plat. You might be able to qualify into diamond, but not too bad.
Uh,
I'll take
sounds
it
kind of fun.
for not playing
You can
for
qualify
like a
into-
year and then jumping right back in and getting ranked into plat immediately. I'm like, still got it. All right.
Yeah,
But
dude. Hey,
Oh,
boys,
that's
do you
how I
mind if I
felt.
get up for 1 second? I'm sorry.
you're good,
I
you're
got a
good.
thing. I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
yeah, no worries, man. We can keep it going. So
We'll just
Trashy.
carry.
Yeah, no kidding. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let's say he's just here for the looks anyways, Devin, the beautiful man himself. But like
the
a lot of
sexy
games
beast.
nowadays, they're doing daily login rewards, and this is something that Smite's been doing for quite a while, and this is something that I think kind of originated in mobile games. I want to say like that was the first time I started really seeing it pop up was in mobile games. And
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about it? Do you like daily login rewards?
I find it like fun having a little bit extra. To me, it's just like kind of a whatever mechanic because no, they're not going to have anything like worthwhile for a daily login reward. I've seen some. I'm trying to remember the name of the game. I've seen some games where it's like if you have like 100+ day login streak, they'll actually give you some like nice things. But how
100
log
days
into it is
though.
just like, yeah.
I mean, that's a third of
Again,
a year.
you get the idea
Yeah.
though. Like if you have like an amazing streak, they'll give you some cool stuff. But basically no one does that. So a lot of it's just like, oh, here, have a little extra in-game
Yeah.
currency. Oh, look at that,
Have some bacon on your
35
salad.
gems for you.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, 500 favor. You
Yeah.
could get that in one game. Have 500 favor.
Yeah. I think
So
that like
it's
speaking to Smite specifically, you know, having you talk about the gems and the favor there,
Yeah.
like the way that they do it is every 5 days. I think is the reward cycle for them, and the first 3 days are favor.
7.
Or is it 7 now? Okay, so the first 5 days are
It's
favor.
7.
Okay, so the first 5 days are favor
Yeah.
rewards, increasing. And then the last 2 days, you get 15 gems and you get 35 gems. So if you log in every single day to
Yeah.
Smite, you can get 50 gems a week. And I think that that's fine. It's a cool daily login reward. I think it's a good way for the people who are free-to-play
Very nice.
players to get a little bit of, you know, an ability to save up for something cosmetic that they really want, you know? Like, it'll take a
Yeah.
long time, obviously, but
A
they
long
can
time.
still save up. And I mean, eventually, you know, if they save up enough, they can get like the premium level battle pass between like purchasing the battle pass one time and the gems that you get as a reward from that. Because I think the premium track battle pass costs 500 gems, and I think you can earn like 300 to 400 just from the battle pass itself. So if you log in for 2 more weeks after that, you can buy the premium track again. Or if you have logged in, you know, for at least 14 days over the course of the battle pass's life, you can, you know, buy the next battle pass that comes out as long as you complete the battle pass. And I think that's cool, you know? I think it's a good system.
Super
I
cool.
think it works. You earn 250 from the battle pass. Okay, so you would have to log in for 5 weeks after that. But I mean, even
But
still,
it's
that's
a process.
yeah, there is a means to be able to earn each battle pass for free, and I think that's a good system. And I think that's like the fact that you can get that as a daily login reward is probably the reason that they don't allow you
That's great.
to earn the full 500 from the battle pass.
Yeah.
As kind of an extra incentive for people who don't want to spend those gems ever on the battle pass because they don't care about it, so they can still get something even though they're not buying it. I think it's good. We're just talking about daily login rewards, Devin. I mean, do you have any opinions on these or how you feel about them in any game?
Daily logins, I think are cool. For me, it's another incentive to hop on and play the game. I mean, even if I'm not playing it, you know, most of the time you could just log on real quick, reap your rewards, and hop off if you wanna do all that. And I don't know. You guys are talking about Smite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if they do like the consecutive login rewards, like where more days you log in, the better goodies you get.
It doesn't have to be in a row. It just counts that you logged in at some point. So if you didn't log in after logging in 4 times, as long as you log in that 5th time ever, you'll get you know, your favor reward at the max level that 5th time whenever you log in. It doesn't have to be every single day. Because I know some days do both, where it's like you have to log in consecutively each day, or you start back over at level 1.
I think consecutive login days can be a bit wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, like I said earlier, not everybody has the time to be able to consecutively log into a game. I think it's cool if you do have that time.
Yeah.
If you can just hop on and do that, but I don't know. I don't see anything too. I think daily login rewards, aside from level up rewards, might be one of just the purest forms of of rewards. Like it's just you're just getting stuff for being there. Like it's cool.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yep, personally, I'm a fan. I think it's cool.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
it's the developers being like, here's something extra as an extra reason and like a way for us to be like, we appreciate you continuing to log into our game every day and boost our numbers. So
yeah,
and they do, and it's great. I like getting rewards. You know, give me things for free. I'm here for that.
Please.
So in-game currency earned for winning games or just playing games that you can use for upgrades in the game. You know, like I think that this is a good reward system personally, but like basically being able to do things in game that allow you to have progression, you know, like the in-game reward system outside of just experience and levels. How do you feel about this? Like earning currency to do other things. Speaking to like World of Warcraft specifically, I think is one of the best examples. They used to have a currency called, I think it was Valor Points and honor points, and they did a couple of other ones. They used to do badges too. Conquest is currently in the game. It was honor and conquest right now, and that's like the PvP reward for purchasing gear. Like you play enough matches and then you can buy gear if you get enough points. But back in the day, for doing dungeons, you used to be able to earn badges, and I can't remember what they're called for the life of me because I'm blanking right now. But like at the end of every heroic dungeon, you would get badges. So even if you didn't get the loot that you wanted from your heroic dungeon, if you eventually ran enough, you could go take that loot, take the badges, and purchase a specific piece of loot. So it was a slower means of progressing your character if you didn't get lucky, but eventually, I mean, it was like a parabola. Like if your luck continued to be awful, at some point you would hit a point where you could get an item still. You know, if through no other avenue except for purchasing it with badges. And I'm a huge fan of that personally. I think leaving everything up to RNG kind of sucks sometimes if you have bad luck. I'm a very unlucky player and stuff like that. Like I'll get lucky with things that like people are like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? You know what I mean? Like there was like a less than 1% drop chance mount, you know, from like last expansion or whatever, and I just logged in like arbitrarily one day and ran a dungeon and got it. You know, and like, but at the same time, like I would farm for weeks for one piece of gear and never see it. So like I see both sides of the luck. You know what I mean?
I got a kind of a funny story for that too. Like, what's the Brewfest dungeon? The mount you get is it?
There's a Kodo and a Ram.
The Kodo. What
Kodo being the dinosaur.
Do you know the drop chance on the Kodo?
I can look it up. Finish telling your story.
Yeah, I kind of, it was the same thing you kind of just said. I remember I hopped on WoW for the first time in like however long, and I was just feeling bored.
Less than 0.5%.
Okay, yeah. I knew Brewfest was going on. I ran the dungeon and I got the Brewfest Kodo. Like just random day. Like I honestly, when I got it, I thought that it was just something everybody was getting for completing it. And then I showed my buddy and he was like, dude, you got really lucky with that. And I was like, what? I was super. And then I looked into it and I was like, whoa, I asked you if you knew the chance because I couldn't remember. But yeah, that kind of stuff does happen sometimes. It's pretty funny. And sometimes it just will never happen. You might just be that unlucky. So the fact that they can implement things in the game that will like essentially curve your bad luck is pretty cool, I think.
So to give you, I mean, I've got another one for that one too. I mean, I guess this is just World of Warcraft mount podcast now apparently, but there was an in-game event during the last expansion where you could go and do a raid. And there were 2 raids that you could do. You could do like Ice Crown, the Wrath of the Lich King raid, and then you could do Firelands, the Ragnaros raid. So 2 very prominent bosses from World of Warcraft's history, and both of those guys have a chance to drop a mount. And it's an incredibly rare mount. I mean, Invincible's Reigns is one that's talked about constantly. Yeah. And I didn't get that one. But the one that drops off of Ragnaros is the Smoldering Egg of Milagazor or something like that, I think. Like
that's the Flaming Phoenix, right? The big one?
The Flaming Phoenix. And like the drop chance, I'm not even sure. Like I'm looking on Wowhead right now to see if it's listed, and I'm not coming up with anything at the moment.
My buddy grinded that for months and months and months before he got that one.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Oh, okay. So it's 1.7% chance to drop. And I happened to get it on my one attempt at doing the raid event. You know, and I had never farmed it or anything like that. It was just you were supposed to be able to go in there and get a piece of gear or whatever for doing the raid with a group of people, and I just happened to get the mount. And I was like, well, I'll take it.
And
but
you
like
know,
what's that?
Bringing it back to like reward systems, like I feel like that also is like I wouldn't say a form of like gambling per se, but like there is that dopamine hit for me at least where like, since we're on the topic of WoW, I'll use WoW, where like you go into a dungeon and you're looking for that item and it doesn't drop and you're like, okay, that's fine. Let's go next week.
Yeah.
You go in next week, does drop. All right, let's go next week. You know, and then that you finally get that lucky drop that you've been waiting for so long. And the feeling of that is
amazing,
incomparable to anything you will pull out of a loot box or like any type of level up reward or battle pass, in my opinion, at least. I think that's the greatest risk over reward kind of thing is like the RNG reward mechanic. Like,
yeah,
it feels good.
I've never played World of Warcraft, but you're hitting home for me as a Borderlands player. Let me tell you.
Yeah, same kind of thing.
Going through, oh my gosh, finding like the perfect gun for your build or looking for that like the cosmetic, like your perfect skin or head that you want, because let me tell you, before Borderlands 3, certain bosses would drop heads, and they are fucking rare, man. Like I remember in pre-sequel, I spent a month looking for a head, like just straight up. And after a while, I'm like, I'm just not gonna play the game anymore. Just,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just gotta put the
you
game to
done
the
it.
side because it's pre-sequel, so
That's
it's whatever.
I feel like that's where the risk reward comes in, you know,
Yeah,
because you can either keep trying and trying and trying and finally get
yeah.
it, or you can keep trying and trying and getting to this point where you're like, all right, screw this, I
It's
give
time
up, and you
consuming
could
on
just never get
Borderlands
it.
2. The soft resets, you close out the game and you load it up without saving, man. Like it's just it
Yeah,
takes a while to load the game constantly. Time consuming.
I
Yeah,
got things to do, man. I can't.
Yeah.
yeah, most
Come on,
definitely.
let me just reload last save.
Speaking specifically though to like what you can earn in game and being able to purchase things with that, I think that outside of
Yeah.
maybe leveling up and loot drops, you know, like you have a percent chance to find this item.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
being able to reliably get currency and then spend it on things as an alternative means of progression is one of the best reward
Oh.
systems in gaming. I think
Yeah.
that is. I think that's the one that works, and I think that's the one that people should go with more often.
I feel like it kind
Oh,
of
for
goes
sure.
hand in hand, like in the same vein with like a battle pass almost.
Yeah.
Like just the more time you put into the game, the more stuff you can get. Except with the currency,
You can pick.
you can pick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a battle pass, but like if a battle pass gave you a choice of what options you could get, and after you chose those options, you weren't limited to not being able to pick those options again. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
if companies were to put options in a battle pass, it would be like a thing where you get to pick one of 4 skins, and then those other 3 skins are not available to you anymore. You know,
Yep.
like this specific reward system of earning
unless
currency.
you pay an extra
like,
$100, then you
Yeah.
get all 3 in a bundle.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Just spread your cheeks a little bit farther, and you can have it all. But like. I think it's honestly the perfect reward system. I really do. Like it goes hand in hand with so many other ones so well. I think that every game should have some kind of a currency that you can use to purchase things. I mean, even speaking to Smite specifically, which is a game that like a lot of the things that people look at prestigiously are skins that you can buy with real money.
Mhm.
But there's something to be said for seeing someone who has a lot of worshippers, which is like their like each individual god XP. That you level up and you get mastery ranks, seeing someone with a diamond skin with a lot of worshippers on that character, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you run into somebody like that, there's a certain amount of, oh, this person knows what they're doing, and you recognize that and you see it for yourself. You know what I mean?
There's that respect. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that goes a long way.
It's immediate fight or flight, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, most definitely.
Those games with in-game currency rewards, you see that. You see like, okay, this person has put in their time. They've tried they've played this game successfully to the point where they were able to attain this skin or this item, this cosmetic, this mount, like instead of it being like, because with the RNG stuff, it's you know, like me and Vince said, you could just get lucky, go your first run and pick it
Yeah.
up. That doesn't say anything about how much this person's played or anything. They could have just hopped in, sat AFK / followed the tank and just happened to get the mount, you know? Like,
Yeah.
but with this, like, I feel like they're I'm sure there's some loops in certain games and stuff, but for the most part, I feel like it's the most like dedicated and rewarding way to receive a reward.
For sure.
Reward.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add on that, Trashy, before we skip on to the next one? And we've kind of all been jumping in on this one. But
I do agree that I am a big fan of the in-game progression when it gives you currency or just anything in general. Because I'll start off with going back to Black Ops 2. It meant something if you had a diamond skin for your gun. If you had a diamond camo in Black Ops 2, you had no life. Like, because to get for anyone that doesn't know, each gun had like 10 skins you can unlock on it, and once you get 10 skins, once you got all those camos, you got the golden camo. If you get the golden camo for every gun in that like classification of guns, you got every submachine gun gold, you'd get diamond for all the guns. So it meant something, because that was a lot of time, because some of those were because it was linked to like achievements. Basically, it was almost an achievement hunter thing. It was, some of those were difficult for some guns, man. Like like one of the most difficult ones, just generically, was there was one where it's like you gotta get 5 bloodthirsties with this gun, and I think that's just like a quick 5 kills immediately. It was some of those things were a bit intense. But as far as currency goes, my favorite example of this is actually Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, if I remember correctly. It was the second game. Because in that, you could get BP, battle points, generically. What could you do with that? You could get cool new customization stuff for your character. Oh, look at that. Now I have Frieza armor, stuff like that. You can also get amazing super moves, like different levels of the Kamehameha and like different like iconic like signature moves of different characters throughout the series, which let's be honest, if you're any kind of anime fan, that's gonna be cool playing an anime game and going like, I'm gonna be the next Hokage, like kind of thing.
Yeah, most definitely.
Going through, but you had like the bigger ones you had to save up for. Like I legit like just sat there, no life the game for a day, and I barely got enough to pay for like it was like a tier 10 Kamehameha or something like that. I can't remember, it's been forever, but beam like thicker than the character, like kind of like level of power.
Yeah.
Dude, Xenoverse had some cool. I kind of that game.
Oh, did I just
that was forgotten memory for me. I forgot that there was like kind of a grind system in that game. There was a lot you had,
but it was a fun grind system.
It was really
cool.
good.
It was
really good.
It was genuinely like, oh, cool! I gotta do another mission, or I gotta do a mission faster, like because each mission had challenges, and you got rewarded for completing the challenges. Like if you beat them with a certain move, if you beat them under a certain time, if you don't drop below a certain health, you know. But it was all cool. The grind game was fun, you know.
Yeah, that game was cool. I remember that game being really cool. I just completely forgot about it.
I played a lot of the first Dragon Ball Xenoverse. I did not play much of the second one.
Me too. I played Xenoverse 1, but not 2. But
I had the second one, and let me tell you, it was fun. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, most definitely. And so, I mean, I think that we can all agree that like earning in-game currency and being able to spend that on things in-game feels awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I think that that's one of the coolest things about gaming, honestly, is like seeing a reward pay off and being able to kind of choose your own road and be like, yeah, this is mine. You know, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's great. But what do you guys think about specifically like achievements, trophies, like Steam achievements, whatever? Does Nintendo have trophies now? Do they have an achievement system too?
I don't think so.
In-game achievements inside of World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
like that sort of thing. I mean, how do you guys feel about this? You know, like gamer score was a huge thing for such a long time. You know, for Xbox.
Badge of honor.
Badge of honor. Say, is that
badge of honor? Some of those things.
As far as achievements and trophies go, in a general sense, I think they're like a really cool way to track like your progress in a game or just flex things that you've done that not many people can say that they have done.
Yeah.
Like for me with like Steam achievements or some of my PS4 trophies and stuff, like it's just cool to look at that little number that's just like only 3.4% of players have completed this. Like I get a little kick out of that. So for me, I like it. I think that's really cool. I don't know. How about you guys?
Trashy, got an opinion? Go ahead. You
I wanna
first.
hear
I'll
you
go last.
first.
You want to hear me first? Oh gosh, all right.
I want to
So
hear you first.
I mean,
Go
for me
on.
personally, like World of Warcraft achievements is probably the thing that I feel the most attachment to because I've spent so much time playing World of Warcraft. But like Smite achievements, I could care less about. They happen, but I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about that at all. Like, PlayStation achievements, if I'd paid more attention to getting trophies, I think I would have cared a bit more. I've never gotten a Platinum trophy on PlayStation. I really don't care enough to pursue them. So I think that's, like, I feel like if it's something that doesn't give me something back, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really care that much. I don't go show off my trophies to my friends. I don't go show off my Xbox achievements to my friends. I'm not like, look at all the things I accomplished in this game that I'm sure you care about. Like, that doesn't matter to me. But for me,
dude.
There are certain achievements inside of World of Warcraft specifically where if you meet a certain criteria and do enough things and do enough of this grind, okay, then it gives you something. It gives you something in game that like your character can wear, or a title, or something that people can see that shows them like, hey,
Halo.
This
Halo
guy
did
bangs.
that.
You know what I mean? Like
on him,
and
you're just giving him the flex,
exactly,
bro.
And I'm here for that. Like if your PlayStation trophies, you know, like if you had a certain amount of like platinum trophies, it gave you like a platinum name or something like that in the friends list. You know what I mean?
That would be so
that would
cool,
be
dude.
cool.
That would
If there
be
was
rad.
like the fact that it at least shows your gamer score on Xbox, I think it shows people your gamer score is kind of cool, but like it's not quite the same as having something specifically related with the prestige of accomplishing something. One of the biggest ones in World of Warcraft was you could get a title called the Bloodsail Admiral, and this came out when achievements were first introduced during Wrath of the Lich King expansion, which were 4 years after the launch of the game, I believe. So it would have been in 2010, 2011 when I did this. And what you had to do was you had to go to a city that was, you know, under the control of goblins. It was a neutral city traditionally, okay? And what you would do is you could mark yourself at war with certain factions, okay? And when you marked yourself at war with these factions, you could kill them. And when you killed them, you would lose reputation with them. And there are 4 goblin cities on the map, okay? And when you killed a goblin in one city, you lost reputation with every single goblin city on the map, okay? So you're there, and these guards are tough. They're max level, and as soon as you start fighting one, a bunch of them come. So you got to have other people to do this with. And I sat there for hours, and I killed goblins, okay? I killed their entire city over and over again, and I died so many times, and I did it for days, okay? Because you have to go through like every single reputation level, like 15 reputation at a time. And you have to get a total of like 40,000 reputation, okay, for getting 15 reputation every single kill. And at the end of massacring all of these goblins, you get the Bloodsail Admiral title, you get a pirate outfit, and a parrot pet. And it was worth it. And I cannot go back to Goblin Cities on that character because I get killed.
You committed genocide for a pirate cosplay and a parrot.
But at the same time, I put that on.
Genocide, man.
At the same time, you put it on and people know what you did, and it means something, and I like that.
They know you committed genocide for a parrot.
Yes. Absolutely they did.
You went to the lengths. That's dude,
but
that's
there's
awesome.
no
that
question,
really cool,
you know?
Truly.
Like if there's achievements in game, I want to know that you did something hard to get them. I want to care about your accomplishments, you know? Like I don't care though that your gamer score is high because you play video games a lot. We all play video games a lot, Chief. You know what I mean? Like I want some kind of more representation from the trophy system and achievement system before I start to care about it. Steam achievements, I think, are the worst offender of this. I don't give two cares about any Steam achievements.
The coolest part about Steam achievements is they have that like showcase thing. That's literally all it's good for. Like you can showcase your rarest achievements on your profile. Like that's about it. Other than that, like it's whatever.
When's the last time you looked at somebody's Steam profile?
I couldn't tell you, man.
that's what I was saying.
I look at my own. I look at my own Steam profile sometimes, but
you look at your own showcase, like, yes,
exactly.
No, what I do is I go and look at how much time I've put into my games the last 2 weeks and feel bad about myself. That's what I go do.
Definitely.
Look, I am a huge fan of good achievements because, like you brought up earlier with Smite. That's whatever, man. Like the majority of those character achievements, you'll get them within like 2 days of playing the god.
Yeah,
it's like a vast majority of them. Same thing happened with Overwatch. In Overwatch, you got achievements, and some of them for playing each character. If they had 2 challenge achievements, you'd either get a cutesy, like a chibi version of the character as a spray, or you'd get a pixelized version of the character as a spray. Some are more sought after than others. Example. Lucio's pixel spray, if I remember correctly, was if you get 3, you would need to get 3 environmental kills without touching the ground.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that was a brutal
so basically,
one.
you were just playing Elios exclusively as Lucio. Like, it was...
yeah, most definitely, and like,
but you get that's difficult. There was there's an Arisa one that's difficult that says like amplify increase your team by 100k damage with 1 use of your ult. 100k damage, like it was something. I don't think it was 100k, but it was like something insane. Like, no, sorry, it was like something absolutely insane though. Like with 1 use of her ults, like it was really hard to get.
Even 10,000
things, like it's.
Even 10,000 damage.
I remember what you're talking about. Yeah. I know exactly what that was. It was ridiculously hard.
Funny thing though, I got that randomly, and I had a friend who was a Risa main who like tried for like months getting that. Like, 'cause it is difficult.
with those Overwatch
difficult.
achievements,
Yeah,
that was just how it went. Like you just
yeah.
would get them
Some were just
out of
like, oh,
nowhere.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It but it for me it depends. And as far as Steam achievements go, um, if I had friends nowadays that would play TF2, I'd totally look at their TF2 achievements list for a reason.
Huh.
Because let me tell you, TF2 achievements specifically are some of the best achievements. The reason being is they promote a lot of fun and mild toxicity, but it's fun toxicity. If you
Okay.
look at Spy, for example,
Yeah.
there's a Steam achievement on Spy that says backstab someone and before they respawn, they switch to Pyro, which is the direct counter to Spy in TF2. There's one that says get like 8 kills on an enemy player that's on your friends list, like stuff
Oh,
like
wow.
that.
Yeah.
Like
I actually
it was like cool little quirky ones. I think that's great for
yeah,
achievements. I love seeing
yeah,
those.
I think you brought up a great point about achievements and trophies and stuff. Like that's something I didn't even think about. Like there's so many really cool, funny achievements that like they can be so quirky.
Yeah,
Achievements are fun, man. Yeah, they're cool.
I don't like the achievements that like Cyberpunk. You got an achievement said complete the first mission.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
course.
We're proud of you. You've done it. You've managed to continue playing the game up to this point.
That is an
hate
achievement.
when
Yeah.
they give 'em out
Congrats.
for candy. I hate that. But when you like the really, really difficult ones, I think is amazing. I love the quirky joke ones, like in what was
Portal.
it? Bubblegum Chainsaw. There was an achievement you'd get if your camera angle was like within a certain degree because it meant you looked up her skirt, and it
Oh
said you.
gosh.
It was like called you dirty dog or something like that, and it's a permanent stain on your gamer score because people can look and see that you did that.
The
That's
instant
actually-
call out
that's
for
actually
someone trying to be
hilarious.
a perv.
The achievement
Amazing.
was
Wow.
called I swear it was an accident. That's what the achievement was called.
That's sick.
Bubblegum Chainsaw.
That's sick.
Big
Stuff
brain,
like
dude.
that's my favorite kind of achievement. Like the
Yeah.
stuff that you get from like joking around, doing stuff mockingly. Like I'm trying. I think it was TF2 again where you got achievements for dancing on a certain amount of bodies. Or
Yeah.
oh no, Spy. You got achievement because after if you get killed, TF2 instead of having a kill cam, it just zooms in and freeze frames on the person who killed you.
Mm-hmm.
You got achievement for flicking a cigarette on their body as soon as it freeze framed.
Oh, nice.
Like you
Yeah.
had to time that taunt. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I love achievements like that. And I think achievements are like achievement trophies, whatever you want to call it. Some of the best things you can do for a game is put in cool achievements like that, like fun things to strive for.
Yeah, most
It's
definitely.
I
the
agree.
best.
Most definitely. And
Yeah,
one thing
for
that
sure.
Nice Fox said specifically about Team Fortress 2 as well, and this is something that really stuck out for me about that game as far as like putting value behind your Steam achievements, was you also got weapon unlocks for doing certain things. And that's again, like that's what I ask for from achievements in video games, is being able to see that someone did something, you know,
Yeah.
like inside of the game.
Yeah.
You know, I want to know that you accomplished something with your platinum trophy. Like if in every game that you got a platinum trophy for, you got some kind of an in-game cosmetic, like I said, it made your like PlayStation name platinum if you got a certain number of platinum trophies on like when people saw you on their friends list, I would be all over that. I think that kind of thing is awesome. I just want people to know what I've done when I do it. Like, you know, recognize the accomplishment a little bit if you're going to make it seem like an accomplishment in general instead of just telling me it was worth it.
People don't just go on your profile and I mean, if that's your thing, you maybe you do that.
There's somebody out here browsing every single
that's a
person's
niche.
Steam
That's a
profile.
niche.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
being like, "Oh, I noticed you didn't get this achievement. It's an easy one. Go get it." But like, yeah,
I have
exactly.
two
Beat this game.
platinums.
Yeah.
My 2 platinums are Infamous Second Son
Mhm.
on PS4 because all you have to do is just collect everything on the map and beat the game.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man also because it's literally the same thing. Those would have to be like the 2 easiest platinums to get, but I'm proud of them. Those are my only 2 platinums and you can't take them away from me.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, going back to your comment earlier, Vince, on the Xbox just kind of showing you the number, it does that, but what they tried, and let me tell you, I don't like it. It's like a pathetic attempt to incentivize achievements.
Definitely.
They do this thing where every month you have a leaderboard, and it's however many, like they call it like G or something like that, gamer points. you
Yeah.
get for achievements, you could be on a leaderboard for that month. So, however, if you got the most
Huh.
that month, you get put on a leaderboard. You can compare it to your friends or in general on Xbox now, I believe. But like, for example, I'm like 26 on my friend leaderboard right now, and I only got 45 points worth of achievements.
Yeah.
That's literally 2 achievements in Smite. Like, it's legit 2 achievements from Smite.
Yeah.
So it's just like whatever for me. Again, pathetic to try and incentivize it, but I also think um,
I like
they're
leaderboards.
doing a
Yeah.
thing now on Xbox where it's like for playing games enough, you can get Microsoft currency to buy cosmetics and games and stuff like that, which is
Okay.
really cool actually.
Huh.
My buddy Jake was telling me about that, how he was able to get like a $15 worth of something in a game, and I'm like, dude, that's freaking awesome. Where do I sign up? And he's like, oh, it's part of one of their like premium things, like their memberships. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, can't pay for that, so whatever.
Even still though, I mean, it's cool. You know, it's cool
Yeah,
that they're
that's
trying to do
really
something with
well,
it.
they do that with credit
Yeah.
cards now, where it's
Yeah.
like you spend money, you have some points back.
Yeah. It's definitely that
But
for sure.
it is a cool incentive, though, you know.
Cash back.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, we'll start with you on this one, Trashy. What game has the best reward system overall to you?
I'm trying to think for because how we I'm uh gonna be a bit biased here, and I'm gonna say I'm a big fan of Borderlands. Like Borderlands is
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite series ever. And how we talked about in-game rewards, if you grind, you'll get a gun. If you do that, you'll get a gun. But also a really cool thing with Borderlands is if you keep up with Gearbox's Twitter account, you can get codes for golden keys, which let you unlock a chest that gives you like pretty nice drops and all that. And
Yeah.
if you keep up with events and all of that, which is again a nice reward system, like if you go out of your way to do that, you get rewarded. Like you could get like specialty Christmas skins that are limited time only. Like you can do all that. It's just fun. But as to the more traditional sense of reward systems, just grinding in the game, leveling up your character so you get extra perks, getting the achievements in Borderlands, because those funny achievements, they're there in Borderlands too. There's quite a few examples of that, and they're all great. So I'm impartial to that, even though I know we've been talking more about the cosmetics kind of like coming from the outside of the game just to be thrown in, you know?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, how I worded that. It was a bit weird, but you get the idea.
Yeah. I think
So
Borderlands is a good pick though. I think that they have a really good
Yeah.
gameplay loop. I think that they're constantly making you feel like you're improving your character. I think that they do a really good job of making you
Yeah.
feel like there's always something a little bit more to strive for and push for, new things to find, new items, new, places
yeah.
to go visit, that
Like-
sort of thing. So, yeah, I like it. And the character upgrades and all that stuff are all pretty meaningful,
yeah.
and I'm
Like
a fan.
Borderlands 2, if you max out your character, there's overpowered levels. You can go all the way up to overpowered level 8, and that was actually difficult. Borderlands 3, they have mayhem mode, but that's not really difficult. It's pretty much just you get a good enough gun and you just kind of run through it.
Yeah.
The only thing difficult is the bosses, just because of how much health they have. It's like it's actually hard to burn through. You run out of ammo sometimes. But again, that's whatever. That's Borderlands 3. It's a spin-off title.
I feel. Yeah. What about you, Devin? What do you think? What, in your opinion, what game has the best reward system?
That's a tough one for me, man. As far as making me feel like I'm actually coming up on some really sweet rewards, I feel like WoW has always hit that spot for me.
Yeah.
It always comes back to WoW for me. I don't know, like that game was just so great for me in so many ways, and I played it so long when I was younger, and I just it's one of those games where it kind of just it had it all for me in terms of rewards. It was like your whole story about committing goblin genocide and getting a
Yeah.
cool outfit and a parrot, like
And a title.
that's
Don't forget the
and
title.
a title, yeah, the title, of course. That's like I love that about WoW. It always had this like feeling of like, oh, you see that guy with something cool and you know that he like had to do something to get that, and it kind
Yeah.
of like made you want to be that guy, you know? I remember like playing in middle school and seeing like people riding around on like corrupted Firehawks and just being like, I want that. How did he get that?
Definitely.
And it's an achievement for the Firelands raids and stuff. But like, yeah, I don't know. I always wanted to go to progress in that game, and and it felt good when I did. And it might not be like super traditional in terms of progression nowadays, but I think it's still my favorite. I wish more games like did stuff like that where things felt like really unique for completing an objective.
Yeah. And I mean, something that you touched on, and then Totally Nice Fox in the chat said, "Oh God, the Mount Jealousy was so real for me back in the day." Definitely, there's definitely something to be said about earning something that you know you're about to go walk back into a capital city where there's a bunch of other players, and you're gonna get some whispers being like, "Oh, dude, nice. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
man.
nice. Let's go. All right,
Me
you
and my
know."
buddies, I remember there used to like on our server, we used to always see these dudes with like, I don't remember the exact mounts specifically, but I remember thinking they were the coolest mounts ever. And there were these dudes that would just like do that thing where they hover like right off the ground with their big obnoxious mounts with giant wings and like
Proto Drakes.
whatever. I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly what it was, but I remember thinking their mounts were really cool, and I was like, man, I wish I was that guy, like
Yep.
taking up all that space with my cool mount.
Dude, like, and for
Man,
me,
I want to double park my horse.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yeah, pretty much.
exactly. Like, for me, I think you both might be a little bit surprised by my answer, but maybe not. Maybe not Trashy, because you talked about it a little bit. But Call of Duty, I think, has
I thought about saying
one
Call
of
of
the
Duty,
best
not gonna lie.
reward systems in gaming, and I hate to say it. I think that their like cosmetic loot shop or whatever, all the stuff that they do with that is kind of ridiculous, and all the COD points and things that you can buy nowadays are too much. But
Are you telling me you don't want
I'm talking
Snoop
about-
Dogg to announce your game, Vince? Are you kidding me right now?
I don't. I really don't. I don't care. Like,
That was the peak of Call of Duty, man.
but at the same time, like, I really feel like Call of Duty's reward system is the one reason that I actually keep going back to Call of Duty over and over again. More than anything, like those first 2 weeks of Call of Duty when a new one comes out, even before they release all the skins and all that stuff in the store, and really the only things that you can get and the only things you see people running around with on their weapons are the things that they earned. I love those first 2 weeks of Call of Duty. You're leveling up and you're unlocking all the new weapons and you're getting new perks and you're trying out all the new things and new characters, as is the case of like what Black Ops 4, I think, and Black Ops 3 had the like specialists that you could be and all that stuff, and like all the different like camos that you can get and all that stuff, and seeing even the camos that aren't the gold or the diamond or the Damascus now camos inside of the game, like the new ones, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're so good. They're so good.
All very beautiful, yeah.
And like that stuff is
Shout
prestigious.
out to my KSG, I never got gold.
Yeah, I mean, and the only gun that I got gold in this new Call of Duty was the Hauer, and I did it on like the first week of release. I got my golden Hauer like in the first few days. I mean, my friends will attest to that. And I grinded and grinded and grinded, and everybody else was using that other broken like semi-auto shotgun that you could just like pump 2 shots into people and they die if they were anywhere on your screen. They just die immediately because that's how good it was. But every now and then, like you hit this certain point with the Hauer. I don't know if they gave it a buff or what, but like even in that first week, you hit a certain point where you were so good with it, okay, where you could just get the one shot and you knew the range, so you knew what angles to peek, and you'd come around a corner and they'd be there with their, you know, like shotgun that is the good shotgun that like just kills everybody easily, and they wouldn't be ready and you'd one shot them, and it was so fun. Like, and like being able to run around with my gold one and do that, I was like, oh man, I'm living for this right now. And it just like being able to unlock all the camos and having to do specific things inside of game to get the camos, it feels good. It feels good to level up and unlock new weapons, especially when you see people higher level using those weapons, and then you get to that point and you get to use those weapons. It feels amazing, you know? And I think that is a game that really rewards you for your time, at least for those first 2 weeks. And then after that, it's all just like, oh, did you buy the tracer pack? So that way your bullet rounds can be pink because they're flying out of your barrel. And you can be all excited because your anime character gun will shoot pink bullets and make kawaii noises while you shoot. Cool. Like, I don't care about that.
Snoop to tell you got a double kill?
I mean, I kind of do, but I kind of don't care. Like,
come on,
you know,
I miss my handlebar mustache reticle now. Just like since you're talking about all that stuff.
Yeah,
I miss my weed leaf reticle.
Yeah, and like and it's cool, but at the same time, it doesn't feel the same. The first 2 weeks of a new Call of Duty launch feel the most to me like old Call of Duty. And I think that Black Ops 2 and before Call of Duty was potentially the peak of reward systems in gaming for me. Yeah. I think that was the best it ever was.
I think Advanced Warfare had some pretty good ones too. Getting some of the exosuits in Advanced Warfare was dope. I love the Luchador one where I had a punching bag on my back.
Oh yeah. And I mean, for me personally, I think I was playing Titanfall when other people were playing Advanced Warfare. Personally, I was big into Titanfall. But
I love Titanfall.
Yeah, most definitely.
Titanfall's a big pog.
Like, overall, I think this has been an awesome episode, guys. I think we got a lot of really good discussion in here. We just hit the 2-hour mark here, so this is typically where we try to stop it. It's kind of flown by, honestly. This has been...
Holy smokes.
When we were first discussing
really
this...
talkative.
Oh, dude, it's okay. We've actually almost hit 3 on one episode, I think. We had a doozy of an episode. It might have been the MMO one.
I think it was that one.
Yeah, that one was a monster of an episode.
Time flew on this one, though. It didn't even feel like 2. I feel like I've been here for 30 minutes.
But Trashy, you have been an excellent guest. Once again, TrashySweetheart is our guest for today. For any listeners, we're glad to have you on here, man. It's been a good time. We love your cheetah print robe. Do you want to give yourself a shout out real quick? Is there anywhere that people can find you or your content if they want to, like follow your channel, anything like that? Just tell us a little bit about you and give your channel a shout out real quick before you go.
TrashySweetheart. I'm here on Twitch. That's about all the presence I have. I don't mess around with other social medias because I feel like a lot of it's superficial. You want someone real, you want someone to talk to, come to me. I'm not the biggest streamer right now, but that's okay because that means anyone who comes to my channel, anyone who wants, mostly, it's the best. I love talking to people. I love doing all that, and I'm actually a bit after we end here. I'm gonna be hopping on some Smite and running that. Little plug right there.
Right on.
If anyone wants to join in.
Awesome.
Oh, and thank you. And by the way, thank you to Totally Nice Fox and Magic Munchkin Olivia for following me during this podcast. By the way, it really means a lot.
Awesome. Yeah. For sure. So be sure to go check him out, show him some love, guys. I've stopped by his streams a few times and listened to him talk about music, played some Smite with him, that sort of thing. Very cool guy. We're glad to have him on the podcast again.
Absolutely.
And Devin, for anybody who wants to see you and more of your content and what it is that you're doing, what's going on in the world of Devin Kronk, where can they find you at, bro?
Well, you can find me at twitch.tv/Devin Kronk, just like how it is right down there. My Twitter handle is also right down there. And then in my Twitter bio, I have a link tree thing, and you can find all my links there. I also put them in the description for our YouTube videos. So if you're listening to this from wherever I post it, or if you're on YouTube, look in description. I'm gonna have everyone's links there.
Excellent.
Lastly, how about you, Vince?
Oh, well, for anyone who's not already currently following the channel, I would love to have you follow the channel. It's awesome to have you here. We do record the podcast every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, barring major life events happening, which happened the last 2 weeks. But we're back. So we'll be back again next week, providing major world disasters aren't happening or anything like that. And we would love to see you there at 3 p.m. Pacific time every Saturday. Also, my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/justvince, and my Twitter at Vince0094. My TikTok is Twitch Just Vince as well, if you want to look me up on there, spelt as said. Pretty easy to find us. All our socials are there linked in the chat. Also, for anybody who wants to be on the show, we do have an application. If you are a streamer, if you are a content creator, if you are a human being with a voice and a webcam, and you do not have terrible audio, we want you to be on the show. We want you to come out here. We want you to talk about topics with us. We want to get your name in front of some new people, potentially new audiences that you wouldn't be able to reach otherwise. We like you guys. We want other people to like you guys too. Also, one more thing. If you are a fan of the show, okay, if you like us at all, if you are not a fan of the show and you hate us and you love to hate us, send us an email. We've got our email linked right there in the description, but the email for those of you who are listening is gamingtonic1. That's the number 1 at gmail.com. So feel free to send us letters, send us emails. Valentine's Day is coming up. If you want to tell us we're cute, tell us we're cute. Let us know that you like Trashy's cheetah print robe, We'll pass on the news to him. Eventually, if we get enough mail, we want to do a mailbag episode. So send in those emails. We want those emails. We want to hear from you guys. And hopefully we will be seeing you next week at 3 p.m. Pacific time for another episode. Trashy, thank you so much again. Devin, it is a pleasure as always. You guys are absolutely awesome.
Pleasure.
And
It feels so special being here.
hey, glad to hear it, bro. And to all of our
Very fun,
viewers,
boys.
all of our viewers who come out and continue to support us every week, you guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you guys. All of our listeners, y'all are incredible, and we appreciate
you guys.
everything that you do.
Beautiful people.
Feel free to stick around. We're going to give somebody else a raid, and have a great, great rest of your Saturday. Take care, everybody. Oh, an announcement tomorrow, Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific time on Valentine's Day on my channel. It's happening. Be there.
Don't forget.
Much love, everybody. Take care.
Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you guys so much.